Wow. Wow. Okay. So first off, I love it. I love that there are already 30 people here. There's 30 people here ready to go. Tonight, we've got a lot. We've got a lot in store tonight. Um, yes, to everybody in chat, hello. I loved seeing Pin Mike, like always, is here like an hour early. And sorry, it was kind of hectic, so I didn't have a chance to catch up on that. But tonight is going to be a fun one. Tonight is going to be a fun one. We're really just going to dive on in. We have some awesome guests tonight. We're going to really hone in on Scott's new game, ask him a whole bunch of questions, and then roughly around the halfway mark, Scott has to leave. But then Zach Meny is going to hop in, and we're going to then dive in on Godfather. So if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, feel free to like, subscribe, all those good things, comment, do whatever we can. But yes, I'm excited. Tonight's going to be a good time. So we're just, like I said, we're just going to dive right in here. We have three plus me, three awesome people. We're going to just do some real quick introductions because I want to talk about, really just talk about what's coming and Final Resistance and all the good stuff. So, before we get to Scott, let's go ahead. We have George Fisher of Don't Panic Flip. George, thank you for being here tonight. And
Thanks
then we have the one, the only Dennis Krasel. So Dennis, thank you very much for being here, not only of Eclectic Gamers, but also the Pinball Show. Dennis, thank you for being here as well.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. So Scott Danesi. Scott Danesi is on. Scott, I very much appreciate you. I appreciate what you do for this hobby. I appreciate the things that you create. And I was super flattered. I reached out to you on Monday just to say congrats. And I know when the initial teaser trailer came out, I shot a bunch of questions your way, and you were kind of like, I can't really talk about it yet. Let's hold off. So, of course, when the official reveal came out, here came a bunch more questions. I said, when are you available to talk? And you said, now I'm ready to go right now. So I kind of threw out the casual invite to see if you'd hop on here tonight, and boom, here you are. So thank you. Thank you very much for being on here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love talking to you guys. So it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, Monday night, you actually did an interview with Kevin of Buffalo Pinball. You did it over your payphone, which was really cool. And it was interesting hearing the two of you guys had already talked a little bit about Final Resistance. That's the new game. And so this is a module for the P3 Multimorphic platform. So some of that, we may reiterate some of that, but I want to dive in first with the layout, because this is the one thing that I know you guys had a real good conversation, but visually it's just very hard to get from the trailer and even just describing the layout. So what I'm going to do here is you actually gave me this picture and you drew on it, which I think is great.
I did. I was like, he's like, so what's up with this layout? So I'm like, okay, well,
all right.
I got an idea.
So let me actually use this super useful tool. It's very advanced. It's called Microsoft Paint. And what I'm going to do here is feel free to describe these shots to your best of your ability, and then I'm going to be doodling all over it.
For sure. Yeah, it's all good. First things first. So you actually said that thing backward really quick, actually.
Okay.
I think you said P3 Multimorphic system?
Multimorphic P3, yes. Multimorphic is the company.
I think. It's the opposite.
Yes.
So I was like, I'm like, wait a second, is that backward? The Multimorphic P3 thing.
Yeah.
But so this is this looks a little crazy because I did this very quickly. My art skills are as an actual like real artist not so good. So
hey, that's fine.
I don't know. So let's talk about some stuff. So I kind of color coded some things. The first easy stuff, and if you could maybe can you zoom in easily on a certain piece? If we went up and there we go. Okay, cool. Okay. So I'm going to talk first about the purple shots on here.
Okay.
Because we'll get those out of the way, and then we don't have to worry about them anymore. It'll be all good. Those are the ramp shots.
Yep.
So there are 2 ramps in this game.
Goes up,
right? Coming around here. So left ramp is what he's drawing right now.
Comes back down.
That left ramp is a very high speed return to the left flipper.
Okay.
So in terms of ramp placement, ramps that return to the same side of the playfield and don't actually cross over
So that's a ramp right
are
here.
a thing that I'm actually a big fan of.
Oh,
Just because you can't loop it nonstop. At least, well, it's harder to do that.
oh.
Yeah, you can see it really
So
well there.
yeah, so the
There's a
fact that it
great shot of
returns to
that.
the left flipper, you don't want it to return to the right, and then you hit the ramp over and over.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
exactly. Because otherwise you got to put something on it that can divert it a different way.
Okay.
The two ramps in this game do not have diverters on them, so they are consistent.
Okay.
They are, they're going to be doing exactly what you expect every time, while everything else is getting crazy. So
And
this one here,
the
and I
right
left this
ramp.
one to talk about secondly. Yeah,
Yeah.
this right ramp is underneath the ship, and it exits out the right wing of the left wing of the ship, but it's on our right side.
Okay.
That one, yeah, it goes up through the back of the ship
A-
and back out the front.
And
That's
is that
also a
one
very high
blocked?
speed
Is that one
exit.
blocked by default?
It can be blocked.
Okay, that's what the little
Yeah.
rubber thing in the front. Got it.
Yep.
Okay,
So yeah, that's so that in that shot that you showed, it was blocked.
got it. Then
And
feed
in this
straight
shot,
down.
it's not blocked.
Okay.
So it's yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's up and out, all good.
Mm-hmm.
Can you backhand
Now
these ramps?
you can backhand these ramps. Yes.
Nice.
I have seen a bunch of people play this now, players that are way better than myself. The right ramp is way more backhandable on the fly than the left ramp is. So that is something that I was like, oh, I'll make it return to the same side. So then it, you can't, loop it over and over again. Oh, wait, never mind. If you get really good, you can kind of do that on the right side.
Chat, everybody in chat, we will talk about Godfather, but we're gonna save that for the second half of the stream. But if you guys have anything for Scott, feel free to throw it in there. But sorry, Scott, this
Definitely.
this
Yeah, it's all good.
the barrier, is that
Yeah.
I'm assuming there are some sort of sensors or something to know when it's hit, and then I'm assuming
Oh, yeah.
it's a bash toy in a way where you hit it enough times it goes up.
Sort of, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
it is acting like a bash toy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It has two switches inside of it, and it can tell where you hit on it, left and right.
Oh, okay.
So it's really interesting. It's and this thing here, this is the ship's defense.
And they're
So the
two
ship has
arrows,
two.
right? Like that one and
Yeah,
that one.
there's the two arrows. Yep,
Okay.
and the ship is that's its defense mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
So those two arrows are still actually valid when that gate is down. But it's blocking the two shots that are pretty important when you're playing this game. That shot on the right, which I've highlighted in green right there,
Yep.
that is a shot into the ship, and it goes
Right
into a
there.
scoop right there.
So
Yep.
that one's
And
the one that
is
loads the ship, right?
Yeah. So
Got
something really cool that goes on in behind the scenes on this game is that it has, I don't know if you guys are totally familiar with this system, but it has a really large trough in the backside, and it can shoot balls up vertical up kickers anywhere on the playfield along a certain plane. So we have the ship loading mechanism above one of those vertical up kickers, and the scoop that's in front of that, which is in that green shot there that I showed you.
Okay.
That one is independent of that vertical up kicker, so you can shoot a pinball into that shot, and as soon as it recognizes it, it can fire a different pinball vertically seamlessly into the actual locking mechanism.
So it's a separate mech entirely, is what you're saying.
It's really cool. Yeah, it is. That scoop is actually separate than the actual ship vertical up kicker loader assembly, which is so cool.
I think it's comical that Keith Elwin has voiced before that he hates scoops, and it's because he thinks it's a time waste. Like the ball gets in there and it waits too long and blah blah blah. You have found a way in every game of yours to essentially eject a ball instantly. Like TNA, the ball goes in, it's back in your face instantly. Rick and Morty, you already have one lined up in the portal lock, and now in this, you have another tool to immediately eject a ball if you hit a scoop. So, way to go. Way to go on that. Yeah.
It's just a really cool thing for, I mean, I do agree with Keith on that completely. I mean, I don't like when something grabs something and then takes a while. Like if you're in a timed mode of some sort and you're trying to get through things and you're hitting other stuff, and it's, even if it's pausing the timers, you're still kind of getting frustrated. So the faster you can get the ball back to the player, the better. It's always just
Sure. And we're going to talk about a shot over here that gets the ball back to the player.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
we will talk about that.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's
But let me see if there's anything else I forgot about this. So let me talk about that cannon mech really quick.
the
So
pink one?
this no,
Or no,
the
the
cannon
actual,
mechanism that's
okay.
on
Yep.
top of the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that actually gets loaded.
Yeah.
So that is a it's a knocker assembly on the inside of there
Okay.
that is right behind. Yeah, if you can get like a zoomed in, there we go. Look
Yeah,
at that.
yeah, right
There's no balls loaded in that right now, but it
Yeah.
stacks 3 balls up, and there's a knocker assembly below the bottom ball, and it can fire the ball out at a very high rate of speed directly at the left flipper in the game, which is really, really cool. Cannon mechanisms have been done before. Transformers has one. T3 has one. There's a bunch of other games. Like, I mean, there's cannons that are going. I'm talking cannons that go toward the player.
Yeah.
I think those are the two. I mean, like Star Trek Next Gen has cannons that go the opposite way, like AC/DC away from you. You know, the premium version of the Walking Dead has one. But this one will stack 3 balls on top of each other and can eject them at a very high rate of, like, not even just rate of speed, but rate of like frequency, right? So I think I don't remember the fastest we were able to eject them, but I'm pretty sure it was 1 second and all 3 balls have been ejected.
Just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
that fast. It can go as fast as the next ball falls into place. It can fire it out. So
that's pretty
there's
awesome.
there's a lot of really cool stuff that Michael's going to be doing with the software to like make this thing just super awesome. So as of right now, it's kicking them out pretty fast, but I'm pretty sure it can go faster. And I'm gonna,
So maybe
yeah,
not to get you off track, but like I'm always curious, you decided you were going to design this game, right? Or you wanted to design a module. Was like what was was the ship the first thing did you think I'm doing this, and then you built the game around that? Or where did you start? Like what mech did you start with and then add from that, if
Yeah,
that
so
makes
I
sense?
probably should have grabbed my drawings. I have what I do when I'm laying out a playfield is I have these printouts that I make with and for the P3 platform, I actually printed out a blank module with the flipper assemblies and everything like kind of on it.
Okay.
And I'll just start drawing things on there. But the the first thing that I wanted to do here is I've wanted to create an idea for the P3 for a while now, because I think I could make something that looks like a traditional pinball machine with a wood playfield on it, but still uses some of the cool LCD technology, but not overuses it.
Mhm.
And that sounds like kind of a waste, but I'll tell you what, it's far from it, because the like your brain is expecting things to be in certain places all the time, and if it all moves around and you're not used to that, it can be off-putting. So I wanted to see, and it can be. I mean, it's not for most people, but it can be for some people. But in this case, this feels to me like I mean, I just know where everything is all the time. If something's blinking over here and it's flashing one of the inserts, I I don't have to look at it to know what's going on over there. I can keep focused on other things. So I wanted to kind of bring something like that
Yeah.
to this platform, just to see. It's mostly an experiment, really. I want to see what people think of this. This hasn't obviously been released and play tested by the masses yet.
Mhm.
So who knows? I mean, this idea could just be a waste of time. Who knows? But it's not. It's really cool.
All right.
Um,
Well,
yeah,
cool.
so that's that. But yeah, I laid it out for the physical part of it. I did have the cannon mechanism drawn up first.
Okay.
That was something that I drew up actually in SolidWorks years ago, as just a what I'll do is I'll sit down and if I think of an idea of something, I'll kind of draw it up, and actually drew this thing up in SolidWorks as something I could place into a machine. And I wanted to put it inside some kind of menacing ship, and that's what I've kind of had in my head for something. And this just worked out really well. But yeah, I didn't actually build the playfield around that. I built the playfield with a really cool flow pattern to it, and then I put it in the place that made the most sense.
Okay.
I
Like-
kind of wanted it, like at first I was thinking to myself, oh, I could put it like in the center and then make it kind of off, just make it off kilter a little bit so it goes to one flipper or the other. And then after I started laying this out, I realized it would be blocking a lot of shots and blocking a lot of stuff on the playfield, and I wanted to kind of move it over and out of the way. So that really worked out
And
that
up.
way.
That was you. It's up. Like
Yeah.
I think of like Rocket Raccoon shot on Guardians. Like that thing
Yeah.
launches, or Iron Man or anything. They're all low.
Yeah.
Like this is. You have all the shots weaving in and out around it, but this thing's flying. I mean, yeah, that's okay. So you moved it to the right, which makes sense.
Yeah, so I moved it to the right, so it's kind of it's not impeding on the entire playfield. I don't really like shots when they're blocked, when you have to shoot a blind shot.
Okay.
The ramp and the scoop shot underneath that ship are a little bit blind, but I don't think it's at all a problem whatsoever. So the ship is like high enough off the playfield that you can still see where you're going and where you're shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So it turned out really well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, this mechanism, the way that I had it drawn up, was not really good. So,
okay.
So what happened is, so I got to work with on this project. I got to work with a real mechanical engineer to make this thing work and make it work reliably and make it easy to manufacture. So it's it's consistent every time. Like someone just backhanded the left ramp.
There we go. Yeah.
Great. So yeah, his TJ has been absolutely excellent to work with, man. He's yeah, see, there's a good shot. Man, I'm just like watching. I'm getting distracted by just
Sorry,
watching.
I can stop. Yeah.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
No, I love
Yeah.
it. It's great. But yeah,
so
working with
TJ made this
great.
way better, is what you're saying.
TJ made it way better, and he also like went through, because I laid out where the shots are, obviously. So what I did was I wanted to save him some time, so I started making it in SolidWorks for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I started laying out where the ball guides are going and some different little pieces and how the inner loops work, which I'll get there in a second. And then like where the locations of the spinners are supposed to be and stuff. And then I passed that over to him thinking, I was like, oh, I probably saved him a ton of time. And then he gets it and he works his magic on it. And when I take another look at it, it's so much better than what I gave him. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like,
yeah. Well, that's
holy
awesome.
crap.
That's cool being a part. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I love TNA. Everybody's probably sick of me saying. I mean, I am your poster boy, Scott, when it comes to the love for TNA, and people know it. But TNA is like your child. You did, like, I know you own that because you did pretty much all of it. But so this
I
is
did pretty much all of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of pieces of TNA that are like behind the scenes that people don't know
Sure.
that I didn't do. Like the operating system was designed by Jimmy Lippim,
Okay.
right, of 86 Pixels, right? The framework is running Skeleton Game, which Michael Ocean, who is programming
Yeah.
this game, he made that entire framework. And that's all running in there, and that framework even runs in a ton of other games too. I know a lot of homebrew people use it still.
Sure.
Rick and Morty was based on it. There's some really cool stuff. But yeah, like
but now you have a team.
TNA,
now
so,
you actually have a
yeah,
team.
now
Yes.
I've got like a team of people, and they're all really amazing. I mean, so like here, I'm gonna talk about the team for a second, because the team on this thing is really outstanding. So as I mentioned, Michael Ocean's doing the programming on this thing. Not only is he just putting code into this thing, he is programming light shows that are just absolutely amazing, which I'll get back to again. He's putting in the little tweaks that like the little missing pieces, like when you write out a rule document for a pinball machine, there's so many little missing pieces that need to be decided on what happens when this happens and this happens. And so he's building all of that logic and coming up with the cool ideas of what happens here, what happens there. But I mean, that's why I was actually going to try and get him on tonight to talk with us as well. But he's heads down coding right now, because it's there's that stream coming up and TPF is coming up. And he's like, every minute I got, I'm going in there, and I feel bad all the time because I'm throwing more and more stuff at him. I'm like, hey, what about this and what about that? Can you try and get that in before like Texas? Because it'd be really amazing. It's something like I forgot about, like the thing that I forgot about recently was the current player score blinking. To me, like, how TNA does that to tell you that you're up. That's I just totally forgot to request that, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh man,
yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of important. He's like, okay. He's like, all right, we'll get it in. So he
Nice.
got it in for me last minute, but I just feel bad because I keep doing that.
So let's do
But yeah.
the yellow. So when you sent me this,
All
like
right.
you
So
had said earlier,
so
you were like, I think, you gave me a brief explanation, but the yellow, I see the yellow. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about?
okay, yeah,
So
the
yes,
yellow is doing stuff. Yeah.
yes.
So we'll do this. We'll go through some more of these shots, and I'm gonna talk about what the other guys were doing
Oh,
too
I'm
on the rest of the
sorry. I
team here.
interrupted your team. Yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's cool. Actually, yeah. Let me finish real fast, and then
Okay.
we'll move on back to this because back and forth stuff is what I'm really good at apparently.
Uh,
I listen to my interviews sometimes, and then they're just hilarious
uh,
because I'm all over the place. So yeah, so TJ did the mechanical engineering, Michael Ocean on the programming. We've got a guy who works for Multimorphic named Roy Cernuda, and he is doing all these like visual like sprite effects and all these graphics that pop up on the screen,
okay.
all the LCD work. It's really quite amazing what he's doing. He works very closely with Michael though too, because this entire thing is built in something called Unity,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the graphics guy and Michael are working side by side, making sure things can be like toggled on and off and triggered properly and efficiently and all that crazy stuff. So it's awesome. So when you see this thing streamed, watch some of those LCD animations, and you'll see some like really crazy like stuff that it just kind of blows my mind that people can make this stuff because it's beyond my expertise. Um, so another big guy that's on the team too is we've got Bowen, right? He's doing
Yeah.
the rule layout, right? So he did all the rules, documented them all, got them all laid out for us so that Michael could get in there and start building it, and we all start. It's this whole thing has just evolved like crazy over time as we've built it. We've been working on it for a while now. It's
So
been
do you
over a year.
get Bowen a whitewood and just say like play it and make up rules, or is it all just like I
Oh,
know when
that's
you designed
the cool
all the
thing.
audio for Weird Al, you didn't have a game. You just did it all
No,
virtually. Yeah.
that's a really cool thing about this platform. Guess what? I don't have a whitewood here, and neither does Bowen. But you know what we can do?
Yeah.
We have the simulator on our computers. My
Uh,
computer can run that entire game on my screen, and I can trigger stuff and move the ball around with my mouse and stuff
okay.
on it. Like it's absolutely insane.
Okay.
The people that are testing the whitewood out there, it's TJ, Jerry Stellenberg, and just some other people that are testing the physical whitewood to make sure everything is shooting smoothly. Those guys I have 100% trust in. Uh, so it's going to be awesome, and they've been sending us videos nonstop.
Okay. Cool.
So
So
it's so cool.
Bowen's getting creative. He's doing all the rules.
Yes, yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
remember Bowen's done those Papa videos, right?
Oh
Have you
yeah.
watched
Oh
any of
yeah.
those? Or
Yeah.
I'm sure we probably all have.
Yeah.
But
He's
yeah, so anyway, that's the major part of the team is that. The last guy I want to talk about is Johnny Crap, who did the art, right?
yeah.
I don't know if you guys know his background at all, but he did the art for Stern's Jurassic Park,
Mm-hmm.
all three versions of that. He's a professional graffiti artist out of Montreal, and it's so cool. I actually traveled up to Montreal to meet with him,
Oh wow.
and we walked around the city, and we had some friends with us, and we are just pointing out all the things like, oh yeah, Johnny did this thing. Let's go. There's this alley down this way that looks kind of shady, but like once you get down it, it's fine. And like some of Johnny's art's down there. We got to go check that out. It's a lot of fun, but yeah, super talented people. But anyway, that's the entire team of
Okay.
people. Obviously, Jerry Stellenberg is running this whole thing and making it happen, right? But yeah,
Um,
it's really great.
here's a real interesting question from chat before we get right back to
Sure.
it. Is were there any thoughts of adding floating components or modules to the lower playfield? I know that was hinted at.
There are always thoughts about that.
Hmm.
Anything's possible with this thing. I know there have been some mock-ups. Someone posted a video today of TJ's mock-ups of things that can go over the top of that.
Hmm.
This case, I did not think this game needed that. I wanted to try something different. I wanted to try because I've never made a 2-flipper game before. This is a 2-flipper game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, think about that. Some people are like, "Oh, TNA is like a 2-flipper game." Right? Oh, no,
No.
it's not.
No.
Neither is Rick and Morty. So this layout, 2 flippers, very standard Italian bottom, and it's super combo-y and flowy and neat, which is a great
Yes.
segue.
Yeah. Look at you.
back
Look at that
into the-
segue. Let's talk about these yellow
Dude, I'm getting
lines.
better at this now. Look at
Yeah.
this. All right, let's talk about the yellow shots.
Hmm.
All right, so how can what can we say now to divert away and talk about something else for 10 more minutes before we talk about? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right, the yellow shots. So I should have made this multiple colors, and I apologize.
Hey, we got paint
But
here to save
these-
the day. I'm ready.
These are orbits. So let's talk about the left orbit
Mhm.
all the way over to the right orbit.
Boom.
This is a very standard,
All
like,
the way around.
let's go around the whole back side of the module,
Yep.
out the other side, delivering it to the right flipper, right?
Both ways, right?
You know, both ways. It
Got
works
it.
both ways. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's good to go. So and it's this thing delivers it like right to the flipper too every time. It's really cool. So now we have these 2 inner shots.
Yeah.
So these inner shots are actual inner loops, and we're all familiar with inner loops. So that orange line that you just drew on that one, right?
Mhm.
Very easy. That one goes up and around, back out, comes out to your left
Yeah.
flipper.
And that
Um,
to show that
yeah.
here is
Sure.
that shot right there, which is a drop target. There's a drop target in front of
It is
that.
well. There is okay. The orbit itself, when that drop target is down,
Yep.
it's just a normal inner orbit.
Okay.
It acts just like a normal inner orbit.
Okay.
But in that inner orbit, there's an up post and a drop target,
Okay.
because I wanted a way to lock a ball, obviously behind a drop target, because I think it's great.
So like
it's
here-ish,
a-
there's a up post, and then your drop target's right here.
Yep,
So you can
about right there. That's
Okay.
about it. Yep.
Yep.
So we put that in there. Most of the time it'll be down, and you can do different things to like actually activate it.
Mhm.
This drop target's a little special because it's I'm always trying to tweak the drop target lock thing to make it a little different every time. So in this particular case, if you knock a ball out of this thing, it's going to go around the inner loop. So you can actually knock the ball completely out of it and back to your left flipper,
Okay. So
which is neat.
is there any way to go from this left orbit to come down the middle,
You
or no?
cannot.
Okay, so there's no
You
divert or
cannot. It
anything
is
there.
completely like
Got it.
physically blocked and
It's only this
unable
way.
to exit out of those inner loops.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and that was it's a purposeful design decision on that
Yeah.
one.
So it's not a horseshoe. It's not a whoop whoop.
It's
Yeah,
not a
got
horseshoe.
it. Okay.
Nope.
Cool.
Nope, it's an exit only inner loop.
Got it. So
So
that's
that's,
that one.
yeah.
With the
Yeah.
which is
And what-
fancy with a drop target and an up post.
Absolutely. So that drop target can act just like in Rick and Morty, can act like a captive ball as well.
Nice.
So this drop target's got a new piece of technology on it where it's got an opto that when you hit the drop target and it starts to move, the system will actually detect that the drop target has been hit and knocked off the ledge, and it'll reset it before it even goes down.
Okay.
So it
Yeah, you
can
can see the drop
actually
right there.
act like a real captive ball without having to have an opto in front of it to tell it to prepare for an impact with a ball,
Nice.
which is what like TNA does on the inside of that lock,
Yeah, you can see the
and what Rick and Morty does.
ball right there, and then it hit it, and it's gonna whip it all the
Yep.
way around.
It's around there.
Ah,
There it is, right
nice.
there.
Nice. Very
Nice
cool.
slow motion shot. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know how you're finding these things, man. It's like you're finding the perfect
YouTube,
spot in the
man.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's the wonders of YouTube.
Okay, so
All
that's
right,
that
so
inner loop,
that shot's great.
and then
Yes.
this
Now
guy.
we have another inner loop.
Yeah.
Yep.
which goes
So
out this
that's
way.
the other inner loop with the
Mhm.
spinner on it.
Yeah. Optical
This
spinner.
optical spinner.
Optical
It is an
spinner.
optical spinner. So that's the new trend now, where it's not optical, it's
Yeah.
like,
We're
what are you
spinning.
doing?
We're spinning
know?
for days now.
I know, right? Yeah, I mean, in the video, I think it's just spinning the
there
whole
it
time.
goes.
No, I'm just kidding.
Right there, spin, spin, spin. And I already asked if he's gonna make an optical kit so I can replace the spinner in TNA, and he says he doesn't have any plans to do it right now. So
I don't
yeah.
have any plans to do that. But you know
Yeah.
what? If someone who wants to mod
Yeah.
an optical spinner in TNA, by all means do it. It would be a lot of fun. That it would really make for that rip
Yeah,
spin
spinner rip
champion
count. Yeah.
thing. Spinner rip count champion.
Okay, so this guy,
But
so
something,
yeah,
yeah. So that goes around. It's got the same sort of blocker in it. Nothing can come out that way.
so it can't go this way.
So
Yeah,
it
but
cannot
can
go
the
that
other
way.
Got
Yep.
it. Okay.
But it can go the other way. Yep. And the spinner in this one has a counter right in front of it.
Yes.
Right? So it's kind of below and in front where you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There we go. And this is
Right there.
used in different modes for different things, right? There's it's used in a countdown scenario, it's used in a count up scenario, it's used to show progress of how far along you are in something. But I'm not going to go into too much detail on that, but it does do different stuff besides just count your spins. But mostly it's tied to the spinner and doing cool stuff there.
Okay. And right next to it, you do have a scoop. Now, is this a scoop that just gobbles up the ball, or does it rocket it back at you, or what's the plan with the scoop?
Is if I made a scoop, or if I designed a scoop into a game that didn't rocket the ball back at you, I think I might have not been feeling well that day. The scoop is it does rocket the ball. It's an in and an out scoop.
Nice.
So
and it shoots where?
can
To
do
your
whatever.
right flipper, or which?
Shoots to the right flipper. That is a
Nice.
right flipper exit
That's
shot.
considerate.
Yes.
And-
And this scoop is TJ went in and tweaked it. As you can see, it's pretty wide open on the front.
Yep.
So it's a lot easier to hit. It's way more forgiving than the TNA scoop.
Okay.
So
stand up.
it
stand
is.
up.
Yeah.
And then you have a VUC here. That was the other thing, which the VUC, there's nothing that feeds this VUC, but that's the unique P3 thing you're talking about. Yeah.
It is. It's the trough system. So that's right above the trough system. That one is going to the software. It can actually just get a ball to the right flipper nicely whenever it wants to.
Nice.
So that vertical up kicker, all it has to do is take a ball out of play, or if a ball needs to get added into play and it doesn't want to, and it wants to do it in a way that doesn't punish the player, right? So it's not a wild ball.
Yeah.
We can just kick a ball straight out of that and right to the right flipper. Yeah.
So let's talk about, so that's the kind shot. So I think that
it's a kind shot. It's a kind delivery.
I think that leaves us with the non-kind shot.
We didn't talk about the pink arrow.
Yes, which is awesome. I love this. I love this thought. So normally this is your right orbit, but you have some sort of magic back here that will say nope, and it just rockets it back at you instead. So how does that work?
So this is something called a Yagov kicker. This has been used, I believe the first time a Yagov kicker was used was in F14. I'm pretty sure Steve Ritchie invented this. But what is happening on this game is that how it's different than F14 is there is an actual diverter back there that when the diverter is at rest, that orbit acts just like a normal orbit, but that diverter can open up and expose that Yagov kicker, and it will kick the ball back at you at a very, very high rate of speed.
I think it happens right here. Yeah, here it goes.
Yeah.
No, that's not it. It's
soon.
soon.
I think it's
soon.
toward the end, isn't it? Yeah, it's like it does a really cool light show that Michael made as well.
Yeah, I did see one of these light shows. It shows like a swooping motion, like you hit one shot, but then it swoops towards another. Can you describe what that's about at all?
Yeah, that's Rory's magic. Like that's Rory doing these really cool.
Right here.
Here it is. Here
Boom,
it is.
And straight back at you. Wow.
Yeah, and it's fast. I mean, you can see that the guy that was playing that was he just couldn't like make a shot off of it. You got to just try and recover the best you can. So see all this stuff. See what's going on here. So there's like a lot of that smoke effect and stuff on the actual thing. It's Rory made that too, like the tilt screen.
Why are these flippers coming out during a tilt? Did you see that? Yeah, the upper flippers come out, and it must be you can store a ball behind the upper flipper. I think So maybe it would.
that's why. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So
All right.
so this game doesn't use the upper flipper. So I'm like, oh
Sure.
my gosh, is that like a bug or something?
Yeah. Let me
But
find
that's
that for you.
no, okay. So when it tilts, it has to open the upper flipper. So if there's anything trapped back there, it can actually like dump the balls out.
Okay.
Okay, man, I was like, I've never seen
No.
that before.
The
Did
only
not catch
other
that in the video.
The only other thing I wanted to talk about, and this is, I know, once again,
Yeah.
unique to the P3, is the wall. You have the wall of scoops.
Yes.
And I know
Mhm.
like Weird Al did something really unique where it pops the walls up and it makes you play in front of it. You actually have a
Yep.
mode here, if I can find it, where it looks like you have some things down and it looks like the ball's rocketing out of those pretty quick too. Is that the
Well, it's
case?
a trick. It's
Oh,
actually a
okay.
trick. Those scoops are inlets only
Okay.
when they're in scoop formation. And so, if you're familiar with this, there are 6 of these scoop modules in the front of the game there, and they have 2 pieces to them. They have the
Here
back
they are right
part,
here.
which
Yep.
is an actual scoop, right, that can take the ball down and
Hmm.
in, and then it has a wall assembly that slides up in front of it, which can block the ball.
So these
So
four
what you're
have the
seeing
wall,
here,
these two don't, right?
correct.
Okay.
In this case, yeah, then they're lit differently. So you see the walls coming up. You
Yep.
see
Yep.
that? So those are all blocked, and there's one shot. You'll see, boom, he gets
Oh,
it
it's
back in
shooting
there.
out of the ship.
It's shooting out of the cannon.
So you're
So
shooting
the
down the hole, and then the cannon shoots. Yeah,
Yeah,
come
and it
on.
shoots it up and
Yep.
over the top of the wall assembly and to your
And then you're
flippers.
getting back.
So
And you said this cannon
yeah,
can refill itself automatically.
yeah,
Jeez.
it can.
Okay.
So it can restock itself whenever it wants.
So you have
Which is
the middle
very cool.
scoop shooting back at you. You have your Yakima shot on the right shooting back at you. You got the cannon shooting back at you. This is
Correct.
so
And
this is a
the
long
the
playing
actual
game is what I'm hearing. This is going to be a long.
this is
No, this is going to be
well, you
brutal is
missed
what it
you
sounds
missed
like.
one of them
Yeah.
too. There's another one, the gate that the shield that the ship
Oh, the
throws
shit. Yeah,
down
yeah, yeah. It'll just bounce
is
it back.
actually very bouncy and will bounce that back in a dangerous way. Let's see if
Yeah, there's one
see if he
later on.
shoots it again. But yeah, it's great. So the right side of the playfield, and this is done by design. The right side of the playfield is dangerous. The
Okay.
left side of the playfield less dangerous, right? Because the left side of the playfield is more of the city where
Hmm.
you are as the player, and the ship over there is what is causing all the havoc. So it is a purposely done unbalanced layout, which is like in terms of you know activity, right? So here's actually this is the multi-ball, the ship
Yeah.
multi-ball
Yeah.
start when you lock 3 balls in the ship, like a very standard pinball thing. Lock 3 balls, get a multi-ball. Um, this one, I think the video doesn't stay on when it's kicking them out of the ship, but so you don't see the actual how fast it can actually kick them out. But it does just launch them right at you, and
Well,
it's so reliable too. That I was so impressed with how accurate that is. It hits the same exact spot on the flipper every single time, which is
perfect.
really cool. TJ did a great job getting that thing dialed in.
Yeah, here's when it starts shooting. Well, that I
Yeah.
mean, that's always my biggest question when I see these teaser videos. Is it's just there's I just want to know where all the pathways go, and
Oh, absolutely.
foreshadowing. That's my that's my big question with Godfather. Like Eric said,
Mhm.
28 paths. I have no,
Oh,
I don't know any of
yeah.
them.
So
So
yeah, because he's talking about like diverters and stuff like that. So
yes,
yeah, that like these games now have lots of different paths, right? So
yeah.
um, I didn't mention too. There's also magnets in the back of
Oh
this
yeah,
thing where you
yeah.
can't see them, that will grab a ball and take it out of play.
Okay.
With the P3 platform, it's really important to be able to take balls out of play because we have so many ways of putting balls in play whenever we want
Hmm.
because of that trough mechanism. I can, like, for instance, I can take a ball and grab it out of a scoop, right? Or I mean, out of the orbit, right? So I
Okay.
can grab a ball out of the orbit, then kick a ball out of the scoop,
Just
and
instantly.
your
Yeah.
brain, yeah,
Yeah.
your brain thinks that's the same ball,
Yeah.
right? You're like, how did that go? There must be a subway there, right? No, it's not a subway there. It's just taking one out of play, putting another one back. So it's yeah, it's a very interesting thing with ball paths. Yeah, but
Well,
yeah,
I knew my goal when I got you on was I was like, I want you to please explain the physical side of this. That's what I wanted, and I think you did an
Absolutely.
exceptional job at that. I know both George and Dennis have questions, so I'm gonna let
Yeah,
George. I know,
yeah.
yeah, let's George or Dennis go for it. Whatever pops in. Um,
Dennis, go for it.
oh, he was muted. That's a true
Oh, no.
professional. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I muted myself to not be loud. All right. Well, thank you, Scott, for the walkthrough. My questions. I guess the first one I want to start with is your last original theme that you had go into production, of course, was TNA. What made you decide to go ahead and revisit a cyberpunk theme for this game, especially since people will compare it more so, I think, because TNA was cyberpunk?
Yeah, absolutely. So the cyberpunk stuff, the cyberpunk like theme itself is something that I personally just really like. It's seriously just a personal preference for me. And I this is really starting to catch on a lot, and I see other people getting into this kind of this cyberpunk thing with how they're dressing, what music they're listening to. It's people that are of my generation or younger, and there's not enough there weren't enough cyberpunk pinball machines for my liking, and by that I mean there's barely any. So I would qualify Tron as cyberpunk, right? So things like that, there are cyberpunk pinball machines out there, but just not enough, right? There's a lot of banned pinball machines. There's a lot of Marvel characters, not enough cyberpunk representation. So that's that's really
Okay.
what I wanted to do. I wanted to make another one. I wanted to experiment with using like I like alien themed pinball machines too, which is another funny thing we can talk about later as well. So that is just another thing. So I just combined all this stuff together, and I was like, this would make a really good original theme. And I pitched it to Jerry, and Jerry was very, he was very happy about it and gave me the green light to start, putting together something. So
Awesome.
yeah, it was great. Yeah, but mostly I really just like it.
Well, since you went with cyberpunk again as a genre to play in, have you righted the wrong from TNA and returned the 1.0 beep into this game?
We'll just wait till the 17th to hear this stuff.
Beepgate 2.0. I have to.
It's got to be on like 3.0.
I have to dredge up the old memories.
Hasn't it been like 3.0? Like we've been doing this for so long. Right?
Look, the beep 1.0 will always live in my heart. So.
Oh yeah, it will. It was the thing that was. It's on some videos. I did see a video the other day someone posted of the Whitewood from Texas from 2016. And it had the original beep on it, and you could hear that beep was so harsh you could hear it all the way across the entire place.
That's right. It could cut through your soul. It was glorious.
It ripped through. It was like a knife, man. It was crazy. Yeah.
Another question. Now that you've done a couple of games with Spooky, one of course was TNA, which you'd already, as you touched on earlier, did a lot of the development on your own ahead of time, and they essentially just helped bring that to life commercially. But then of course you had Rick and Morty, which was a lot more hands-on with the process. Are there any differences between working with the P3 team, or I should say Multimorphic's teams, and Spooky's teams, just that we might find interesting? A lot of us don't know how these companies work behind the scenes, and it's always sort of interesting to get some tidbits and highlights.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're obviously different companies, run in different ways. So Spooky is more of a it's like a homegrown styled company where there's the designer has to wear this quote unquote designer has to wear a lot of hats, where it's the mechanical engineering has to mostly be done by one person. And then one of the other guys, like Lucas, will go in and do any sort of tweaks to any kind of metal or whatever needs to be done for production. The software people are, at least in my experience, the software people at Spooky, I didn't use the in-house software people. I used an external person, which was Eric Prepke. So I was just working with him remotely on that stuff. And then, it's just constant talking back and forth with the team, the production team, kind of, I was working remotely at that point too. I was not going to Spooky to do anything. But yeah, I mean, it's a very small team of people actually doing the programming and the design work and the engineering over at Spooky. That's a little bit different with Multimorphic, because Multimorphic has a larger network of people that they use, and people that actually work there full time. They have a lot of remote employees. They do have a lot of on-site employees, and it's just a bigger, different thing going on there. You have a dedicated mechanical person that works with a creative designer to come up with the layout and make sure that it's all working correctly and that it can be manufactured and that kind of stuff. And then there's this whole huge like video and programming side of this thing. The P3 is just crazy when it comes to what you actually have to develop to make a game on it. There's so much more, and this is something that I learned recently, is just how much goes into the programming side and the graphics side on something that has a full Playfield LCD, right? Even when I say, let's just put a couple inserts on there and then there we go, and it's static, it doesn't do anything, but you'd be surprised it does. It even at its most minimal state, it does so much stuff that it all has to be accounted for. But there's really neat things too about this system that that actually help these programmers and help the engineers, is because most of the stuff is already engineered and the framework is already programmed. So homebrew people can go in this thing and actually build things in there and utilize what's already built for them. So there's this huge thing that's like this huge beast of a framework underneath everything that they're building on top of. But anyway, so that surprised me like crazy. I don't know if that's interesting or not. It's interesting to me, and it's interesting to, I hope, everybody. But to me, that's like the big standout thing, is just this whole process of the thing that's already engineered to try and engineer something for the future and engineer this framework for the future, so you can make it easier to actually make these things. So yeah, I mean, it's like Multimorphic's going to shoot for 2 games this year, and that's pretty great.
Nice.
Okay. And I only have one more question, and I'll turn it over to George. This was a tough one, Scott. So
all right, tough question.
I'm gonna give you a heads up on that.
I love it.
So I heard an interview with you a few weeks ago on Pinball Party Podcast, and you were pretty generous with your ratings on TNA, if you do say so yourself. Yeah. Pretty generous. Yeah. So
yeah,
layout only. So you're not having to compare any teamwork, judging the rules or anything else. Layout only. Which is better, TNA or Final Resistance?
That's a tough one, man. Let me think for a second. So, man, it depends on the state of mind you're in. It really does. That's going to be an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on Pinside, and I'm going to give Final Resistance all 10s again. Okay. Like across the board. Okay. And I'm going to write in the review, I'm going to say, if any of you guys have problems with this, no, I'm just kidding.
Get your flag button ready.
Yeah. This is a way more complicated playfield than TNA. This playfield is, I think, in my opinion, I think this playfield is actually better than TNA's layout. The reason for that being is that it has way more going on. I was able to I still feel like Final Resistance feels like a retro game. The actual physical game to me feels like a System 11 game, or maybe even an early dot matrix game, right? So I do think this is an upgraded playfield, and I do think also Rick and Morty's layout was upgraded from TNA as well. So I do think it's progressing and getting more and more like interesting as I come up with other ideas. So, but if you look at TNA, it's actually a super boring layout. Like there's really nothing going
But
on.
if you're giving TNA a 10, you're saying this is like a 10.5. We're just
It
discussing.
goes to
it
it goes to 11, baby.
Well, see, yeah. So the thing is I've already written Robin a letter about going to 11, and I think he's only going to give me 10 and a half. If I can, I'm going to try and negotiate for 10 and a half. So if I can like split the difference, you know.
Yeah. Let us know where we sign our petition.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but no, everything in the past, TNA is always going to be very special to me. Rick and Morty is always going to be very special to me. But I'm always going to be most excited about the latest thing that's happening. You know what I mean?
My favorite game is whatever's on the line. Scott Danesi and Gary Stern.
Yeah. Well, you can't go that far. But you know
I
what?
did.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I totally do get it.
Yeah.
I'm most excited about this layout though. And I think I'm really, really excited to watch people shoot it. That's the most rewarding thing for me is when somebody's shooting this thing. I want to see the Yagov kicker fire the ball at them, and I want to see it go like the first time it fires out. I watched Jerry Stellenberg not even able to react to it. He was, and it made him like smile, right? It went off, like it came out of there, made a noise, made a light show, and shot that, hit his flipper and went right down the middle. And he's just like, that's, you could tell like he's like, all right. But then, now he's ready, right? He'd never ever let that happen again.
So you're turning on a ball save for the first time that kicker goes off?
I don't know. I usually, I can't think off the top of my head if there's the safety measure in for that right now. I will ask Michael about that. That would be great if Michael was here. He could answer that question.
That's all right.
Perfectly accurately. Yeah, so that's that. I am excited.
Awesome.
And that was a great question though. That's good.
All right, George.
All my questions are great.
Right.
Thank you.
All my questions are great. I know these are great. Why are you telling me this? You're wasting time here, Scott. You're telling me this thing. Awesome. All right, George, what do you got?
On the back of those great questions, and also you were talking about your team. Scott, you in the email that Jerry sent out were labeled as the creative director. Is that a generic term now for Multimorphic? Is that on this game you were the creative director, and what all does that mean?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. So creative director is so when we think in pinball, we hear the word designer, right? That means a lot, right? That could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It could mean, did this person design the playfield, right? Did they design some of the mechanisms? Did they design the rules? Did they do the project management, right? Did they do the overall seeing of and making sure everything is coexists together nicely? So Jerry has this term creative director because it fits how their team is structured over there a little better. Because the creative director doesn't necessarily do the SolidWorks drawings for the layout, right? They don't have to do the CAD. The creative director has to oversee the entire thing though, and make sure that, the software makes sense with the rules, and the layout makes sense with how the software and rules are structured, and the light shows and the music all kind of work together, right? It's so it's a different term, and I think in how Multimorphic is structured, it's a better term for that team, right? You've got creative director, you've got engineer, you've got programmer, you've got graphics guy, you've got audio people, right? So it's just when you say designer, it kind of feels like it's taking away from the engineering and the game rules design and stuff like that. So, it's just a new term. I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's confusing to people or not. I hope it's not, but Yeah. I see in the chat there too. He's like sort of like Gomez. It's like Gomez does do a lot of creative directing. Absolutely, he does. So, yeah,
So
it's just kind of. Yep.
Oh, sorry. No, keep going.
No, it's all good. I think that's all I got on that.
So there's been a few times tonight where you've spoke about the layout and purposefully designing certain shots to do certain things. You also put together the SolidWorks initially, and it sounds like you then handed it off to someone for the ship. And obviously, there's a few other very Scott Danesi things having to do with like a lock and a lock that does something really interesting with the ball that I think you even mentioned. You that's one of your goals now, is to do something different with locking mechanisms and balls each time, obviously with TNA and Rick and Morty. And then I would even go so far as to say I feel like I've seen just in that short video times where even some of the lighting effects feel very Danesi-esque as well. So it seems like you have your hands in everything, as you were just describing there. Is that I guess just questioning the creative director, does that mean that you had ideas, you specified, and then pushed it off to the team? And I know you've mentioned your team a few times. It seems like you have about 4 or 5 or maybe even more people working on this at that time, or were you directly involved, or is it really just a collaborative project then?
Yeah, it really is a collaborative thing. This is way more collaborative than I'm used to, or than I've done in the past. So I can talk in specifics too, because the light shows is a really interesting thing. So Michael has gone in and he's created these light shows that he created this whole scripting language that can write these like big light shows that can do big swoops and stuff. And it's he made it go. It's such a cool thing. He made it go through the they call them vidserts. Actually, like internally we call them vidserts, like as a joke, kind of. It's like a video insert, right? These video inserts have 3 different states to them. They have an off state, an on state, and like a flash state where they're really bright, where they kind of blow out. Like, I don't know if you ever like look at like if you're looking at any sort of LED, a color LED on a video screen. Just you can look at anything. I mean, you can look at the what we're looking at right here. Look behind you right there at you can see the lights on the inserts. The center of that green insert that I'm looking at on Rush right there is actually white on the screen. You just don't notice. Your brain doesn't notice that. Your brain just comprehends that as green because it has a green glow around it, and it knows that that's supposed to be green. It just knows it's very, very bright green. So we have things like little tricks like that are happening, like when you blast light shows through there. So Michael has created these crazy light shows, and in fact, he launched something today, or maybe it was yesterday. I don't remember. It was either today or yesterday. He launched a video where he created a new script of a light show that I have never seen before in my life, and it blows the light shows of Rick and Morty and TNA out of the water. It's crazy. So you're gonna have to see this thing, because we have complete control over those LCD inserts and the physical inserts that are on the physical module, and they all talk to each other smoothly and seamlessly. So it's very, very cool, and I'm really excited to like show that part off, because it's just I don't even know how I would have done it in my little in my light show toolkit. So it's cool.
Nice. And that stream is going to be that stream will be next Friday on Buffalo Pinball.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Correct.
Perfect.
Yep. Friday the 17th, I believe, right? So the 17th. Let me double check and make sure I'm not saying something wrong. Yeah, 17th. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so we are good there. But that's cool. Yeah, but at the same time, it's you kind of see it, and we work together to say, hey, like we need another light show here, and it needs to be red, and it needs to do this kind of thing. And then sometimes I leave it up to Michael and say like what can you just put something here that kind of fits what you think what you think it would look like, to give him some of that design freedom. And he's done a lot of that design. Like he's designed a lot of those light shows, if not most of them, to look really amazing and do those crazy swipes. So Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Cool.
I can't wait to see it. Yeah. So I've got 3 more questions for you. The first one is still somewhat related to what we were just talking about, which is about how much time does it take to go from idea to live stream next Friday? Like what
Yeah,
what does that
so
look like?
I wish I had an exact answer for you. What can I when did I start? So the problem is when you start with concepts, it
Mhm.
was it's like when do you actually call it like a start, right? I created all this stuff to like try and pitch the unlicensed theme to Jerry. Um, Remember, this is coming right off of Weird Al, which was a very successful launch for them. The first licensed theme for the P3 platform, and you know, you want to keep. You're like, oh well, the licensed themes do really well. Let's keep going after them. And then I come to Jerry. I'm like, hey, I want to do like an unlicensed thing, and he's like, well, well, sell it to me then. It's like, yeah. Um, so like I guess it starts when Jerry was happy with the idea and gave it the green light. And I do remember it being cold outside, so it was probably a year ago,
Okay.
which is a very very accelerated timeline for pinball development.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a very short timeline. The fact that this thing has come from nothing to what it is now in a year is pretty intense. I mean, that's crazy.
And is that because the development was intense, or is that a year is much more doable because it is the P3 platform?
I think a year is more doable because the platform itself has so much, like when I touched on like the framework and the engineering stuff that's already done for you. So that trough system, for engineering example, that trough system's in the base game, right? It's underneath the module, and the module plugs into it. So you have this template already, and you can put your vertical up kicker holes in there, and it just kind of makes it a lot faster for development time. And that goes with the software too. There's a ton of that, like that simulator, that Unity simulator, that we all have on our computers. That I wish I knew how to program better. I don't. I just don't have the skills. But that simulator makes it really fast to get things working and get things fired up, and then you can share this with other people. We use GitHub to sync everything together, and it makes sure that whatever's on Michael's computer, he can push that to my computer and say, Scott, go fire that thing up and tell me what you think of that light show, and I can see it on the thing. And so it's,
Very
I think it's just the nature of that beast. You could, like, a traditional game, for me, like thinking back, like Rick and Morty took about like 2 years about to get to production, from concept and drawings to production. I would say about 2 years, maybe a little less than 2 years. And then TNA was highly accelerated. Um, I didn't have to worry about artwork though, on that whitewood. So I had a flipping whitewood in 1 year, which was highly accelerated for a game like that.
Hey, that artwork though on that whitewood that was
Mm,
top notch
nice, huh?
Sharpie action right there. Yeah.
We seriously talked about, like, Spooky. We seriously talked about making a version of the game that was in a black cabinet with a wood back box looking thing, and with the Sharpie drawn on the playfield and then clear coated,
Oh man.
and then selling that as like an art package. But that, who's gonna actually buy that? Like, it's a joke, but who's gonna actually want that? Like, look at the art on TNA. It's
I
great.
know it's
Like,
beautiful. It's a beautiful game.
it's like it would be a tough sell to try to like sell an actual like whitewood one.
Yeah.
So
So next up, and this is there's no segue, so it's just a switch. But you did a really cool payphone interview with with Kevin from Buffalo Pinball, which was awesome. And there was something that really stuck out as I was watching that, which was that you're interested in making another homebrew. Um, why?
I know why is the biggest question. So the I miss the homebrew community. Um, I miss and I'm not saying I'm gonna actually make a homebrew, so I'm not gonna. So I'll go on record right now and say I'm not making a homebrew, but I do miss the homebrew community. I miss sharing updates with a large group of people, where it's like, and I also miss taking it sounds so stupid. This is gonna sound dumb. I miss taking a half finished project to a show and seeing what people think about what it is. You know what I mean? Like uh TNA, when it came out, when I brought it, when it first came to public light in 2016 Expo, 2016 Expo. Yeah, that is it was just barely functioning. It had like base skeleton game on it with it was able to process 3 balls, it was able to process a multi-ball, it played music and it made sounds and it kept score. And it was really, really half finished. So it's like I kind of, and then people went in and they're like, this is so cool. I see the potential. I see what you're going for. I see this thing, you know, and they're like almost like reminiscing on something that's not even done yet, you know. I just miss that a lot. It would be a really fun thing again to build a game and show people along the way the entire process, because there's a lot of cool stuff that happens, you know.
A lot of sense. Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway,
Okay.
I do miss that.
My last question then for you, and this is very personal. You are putting together a new album for this game. How do we go about ordering the vinyl whenever that becomes available?
Yeah, that's so this game is going to have a full out custom soundtrack to it. Obviously, I don't know if it's going to have as many tracks as TNA, but you know, we'll see kind of where we land with it. But as of right now, the the soundtrack that's in the game is game loops, and so it's not actual music yet. So I have not actually finished any of the songs. So timeline wise, I'm unsure what's going on with that. I have to focus on, we got to get this game done. We got to make sure everyone loves it. We got to make sure we sell some of them. Some, I hope, I hope 1 million, but there's like, yeah. But yeah, so I got to focus on that first. But once the album is done, I'm probably going to release it on on the digital version of it first with a cassette, most likely. And then from there, I'm going to be talking to my good friend at North Star Pinball again, to get a vinyl press again. Just because
Yeah, I
it's
have
just
the
so
pressing
fun.
right
It's
over
so
there.
fun to
Yeah.
do physical. It's so fun. Physical media is so great. I mean, I did recently. I did a soundtrack for a VR game, and I also made that on physical media for people as well. It's not released yet, but when it is released, I'm going to start bringing those to shows and giving them out to people as well.
That's awesome.
But
We Pinball Eddie in chat said, will this album make its way to the TNA jukebox mode? Because your other 2 albums
I
are
don't
on there.
know. I'm unsure. I don't know yet. I have to make sure that I clear it with everybody and everybody's okay with it first. So I can't give a yes or a
I'm
no
okay
answer
with
to
it
that.
if that matters.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you guys are okay?
I'm good
Okay, I
with
just want
it.
to make sure. Like, if you guys are all 3 good with it, then I guess I don't see an issue.
I don't know who else you really need, but that's fine.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that stuff.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Well, Scott, I knew you didn't have all night. I knew you're a busy man, and I know definitely we definitely want to plug the stream next Friday, because I'm sorry, chat asked some software specific questions, and at the beginning we did say that we didn't really wanted to get into conversation about game modes or anything like that. Like, that's what the stream is for. My main goal tonight was to clear up just layout and make sure what could we, how do we understand that 1.5 minute video even better. And Scott, I think you did an exceptional job at that. So Scott, if there's anything else you want to say, mention, plug, whatever you want, the floor is yours. I'm very grateful that you're here tonight.
Definitely looking forward to that stream. I'm going to be flying down to Austin for that stream, so I'm going to be on there as well. you know, the Buffalo Pinball guys will be there. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Texas is gonna be amazing. I hope all of you guys are there.
Yep.
It is just
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna be so fun. We're gonna get a chance to actually play this. I want to play dollar games with you guys on this thing. Yeah, I'm just really excited. And you know, I got this new like cyberpunk hoodie and some cyberpunk pants. So if anyone else wants to dress up in cyberpunk gear, join me, please.
Your wife
Because
is,
I'm
she'll
totally-
probably look amazing. She
Oh, dude,
dressed
she's
up every
totally
time.
going.
Yeah.
She's gonna go all out in cyberpunk stuff. So
Wonderful.
like, I think I've convinced Jordan and Bex to probably do some cyberpunk stuff too. So we'll see if they do it. But George, please, cyberpunk, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Not too late.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thanks
So,
again.
yeah, that's it. Just those things. Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Dennis,
you guys have a great night.
Everybody's good? There wasn't any last minute questions? No?
Oh, yeah.
No,
Well,
no, thank you for answering the ones we already asked.
Yes,
so.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
thank
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Well, thank you,
Dennis,
Scott.
your questions were just your questions were so amazing. Thank you.
They're so great. Don't expect anything
great.
less from Dennis
They were-
Brissel. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you, Scott. I know I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see you in a few weeks. Yeah.
I know. I'm so excited, and I actually love the pinball shows because I don't play a lot of pinball at the shows. I'm there to see my friends, and it's and just have a good time. So
Awesome. Well, thank you.
awesome. I can't wait to see you guys.
Thanks, kid, for being here. Appreciate you. And yeah, we'll talk to you again
No
soon.
problem.
All right.
Yep, we'll catch you soon.
See you, Scott.
See you, Scott.
So Scott is actually going to hop off Discord, and we have another guest who's going to hop on. So bear with the cameras. The cameras are going to look crazy for a second, but once Zach hops on, that should fix itself. So for now, we're going to just deal with this. We're going to deal with half of Dennis's face on one and half on the other. So chat.
What's the matter with my face?
No, yes. No, chat, thank you so much. Look at that timing. Hey, in and out, in and out.
Whoa,
Perfect.
Scott Danesi looks a lot different
Yes.
now.
Uh-oh, now we got to figure out his audio. Oh no.
Probably pulling audio direct from the webcam.
What's he doing?
Sounds like a genuine Logitech 610 mic to me.
Oh man. He looks great. Dennis has a splitting headache. Yes, that's what he had. But yes, chat, everybody, thank you for being here. I'm very sorry. We had a lot we wanted to get through when it came to talking to Scott and make sure, he's here. So we wanted to answer as many questions as he could. But yes, I appreciate chat just kind of talking amongst yourselves. Pinball Eddie had asked, are there any Easter eggs from past designs? He said, apparently the art is full of Easter eggs, not to mention it's not static art. It's he can do a whole bunch with art. So I know there's Easter eggs in there. I think he also said there's Easter eggs with code. There's a lot more coming, but we're gonna have to wait and see on that with the stream. What else do we have? We are going to talk about Godfather. We are going to talk about Godfather now. So first off, but while Zach figures his stuff out, I don't know about you guys. Oh, Scott's still here. Definitely Easter eggs, but I'm not going to give that away. Perfect. I don't blame you. Yeah. Oh, look at Zach. Zach, you're pumping your.
I don't know what
it's getting
doing, Joe.
Oh. This is every Sunday, isn't it? Isn't it, Dennis? This is every Sunday.
Yeah, this basically is why the podcast takes 2.5 days to edit. 2.5 days to edit.
Because he's dealing with that. Zach, I'm pretty sure we did this. No, it's you have an echo going, so you clearly have our audio somehow pumping back through. Do you have the YouTube stream still up? If you have the YouTube stream still up, mute that.
I don't have the
No,
YouTube.
the sound's coming through too fast. There would be a bigger delay if that was the case. Yeah, I checked your Discord settings to see if your sound output's coming to your headphones because it sounds like it's coming to external speaker.
Wow, Josh, Zach is like Godfather. It looks great, but sounds terrible. That's
Oh,
man. Oh, that was really good.
Just when we thought we'd be able to hear him, they pull him back in.
Yeah. Zach is it's like a work meeting now. Yeah.
It's because of stupid Discord.
Oh, it's Discord's fault, even though, The other
It's
three of us
Discord's
figured out a
fault.
way to do it.
Antiquated crap.
He's
Here
missing
I had a green screen. You gotta freaking buy nitro for a screen.
You
So
do it.
bullshit, man. Spent $100 on yeah.
Yeah, Zach sounds like he's back on those painkillers. That's what.
I should be. I'm
Slow down.
tired.
Yeah.
How can you even hear me?
We
What
hear you,
about
but you're
now?
like stuttering
I
and
can't hear you.
slow. Like you sound drunk, but can't like robotically drunk somehow. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, almost as if
Maybe I
you're
need to
underwater.
Yeah. Oh, he's
Yeah,
gone.
get him out of here.
He's gone.
What the?
What the heck, man? How does? I don't know. I don't know how I mean, Dennis, the moment I fix your camera, he's gonna here. Let me go to a 3-person layout. Is that any better? No, that got way worse. Yep. Okay, can we talk about Godfather now? We can. I just don't. I don't even know. How do we want to start off Godfather?
What's happening?
So the whole goal of getting Zach on here tonight. The whole goal of getting Zach here.
Schmeager likes you, George.
The whole reason we wanted to get Zach on here was because he's actually played the game. So being that he's played the game, actually filmed the game, all that good stuff, I wanted Zach to be here because I wanted him to like explain the shots a little bit or explain a little bit of what he had. So we'll see. We'll see if Zach can figure this out. I know last time I had him on, he had issues with audio as well, but it's the routing. He needs to. I don't know. It's like Zooming with your grandparents. That's what somebody said. Yes, that's what it sounds like. All right. So while we're doing that, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this together. George and Dennis, have you seen this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna unmute it for everybody that hasn't seen this video. Watch the lights and listen to the audio. So here we go.
Just gonna take
I don't hear any of the audio. I'm
Oh, you don't?
Ken?
Oh, you guys don't. You guys don't. But the chat, the stream does.
Okay.
Head to the hideout. Mystery Lake. Call a priest. You're gonna need one. Compound
Oh,
more.
you got two market balls stacked on top of each other.
Hello.
There he is.
Any
Thanks.
last words?
You can't
Is it
hear
really?
this video. Yeah, you're good. Yep.
Are we live? Or are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Extra.
It's like a library here.
Well, we can't hear the sound from the video, but evidently chat can.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't even see chat. I'm not even gonna ask. At this point, son of a biscuit.
Call a priest. You're gonna need.
You know what it was though?
All right, I'm gonna stop the video there.
Of all of the media that you could be airing, you're gonna air.
You know, I had to air.
Yam Cam.
It's
Real-
not.
real
No,
good call
don't
there,
blame it.
Engelbert.
Don't blame what we see in this
Jesus.
video. Don't blame what you
Bitching
see in
about
this
my
video
sure
on
mic?
Yam
Good
Cam.
Lord.
Okay, there is not a video quality that's explaining these colors. But no,
What's
please,
wrong with
Zach.
the,
what
yeah,
was-
you guys
what-
don't like colors.
Why you sound so good now? What was the problem?
You know what? It was because I downloaded this stupid Discord app because for some reason the developers of Discord thought if you're online using Discord, you can't utilize the benefits of that $100 nitro bullshit. So you got to download the app, and then once you download the app, that app is buggy as shit.
Oh.
So the buggy as shit app then was mumbling my vocals. So I just closed it, opened it back up, and
There
I don't
you
know
go.
if it's working.
No, you sound great. You sound great. You look great here. I'll even do that so people
I
can
don't
look
look great. I'm-
straight at you.
I'm hurting, Joe.
Well, I know you did a featurette for this video. It came out 2 days ago. So typically when you have a featurette, that means you're video editing for like 6 days straight. You don't sleep, you don't eat, you just
But like
edit.
Dennis said, it would have been maybe a day and a half edit. I just don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. Well,
That Scott Danesi interview, nicely done, fellas. That was awesome.
thank you. No, Scott's a great dude.
Good
Scott
stuff.
is a great dude. So before we pull up, some Microsoft Paint, and you can explain all 28 shots that we need to
29.
understand. 29 shots. This video is out there, and what are your thoughts of it, Zach? Before we in chat,
I don't know if I've
discuss.
seen it in its entirety. Is it the? I saw one. See, I haven't seen a YouTube one. I saw one on Facebook, I believe, playing Italiana multi-ball, I believe.
So,
But I haven't seen. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so
This may be
starting-
the same video just put up
It's-
on YouTube because it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah, it
vertical.
is because I can tell the
Yeah,
lighting. See the lighting.
yeah.
So in this mode, this is I think Italiana multi-ball.
okay,
See the red and the green,
yes,
the colors of Italy, and it's like a tongue-in-cheek. We talk about it on the first impressions of Straight Down the Middle coming out tomorrow, but it's like a tongue-in-cheek, like very cliche, like, and it's one multi-ball in that game. This video captured that one multi-ball, I think.
So that is one of the bigger complaints right now. Is it's only a minute and a half, so we only have a
Mhm.
minute and a half of sound of the gameplay. And what are we hearing? We're hearing a lot of clarinet, which is what we heard in Toy Story. We're
I don't
hearing a
know how
lot.
people identify the
It's-
musical
You
instrument.
didn't study musical instruments?
No, I
Yes.
didn't.
Cool.
A
Even-
song flute is all
I
I,
got
had.
graded on being able to tell a viola from a violin.
Piccolo between a flute.
But
no.
you can't. I mean, in
that's
this
pretty.
minute and a half, the sound is it's kind of Wonka-ish. It's kind of Wizard of Oz-ish.
It sounds like a slot machine, Zach. That's
Yeah.
what he's trying to say.
Is this? But are you saying this is unique to this mode?
I would say if you're playing a Pizza Hut slot machine.
Yeah.
I'm saying, yeah, that's one tongue-in-cheek song. There's another one too. Like if anybody's seen the featurette that we produce, SCTM Studio, at the very end in the outtakes,
Okay.
I forgot what what is it? It's a classic tune, and it's very tongue-in-cheeky too. I think that was used actually in the film. I think both of them actually were.
Yeah, no, that song that you're
It's like
it's
the
wedding. It's the
yeah,
wedding at the very start of the first Godfather.
Yeah, whenever they're poking fun at him and he's
There's
like,
so much
it's the
movie
uncle, right? Or
content in this
the
game. It's
cousin. or
Now you're
whatever it is.
thinking of the scene in Godfather 2 where they start playing Pop Goes the Weasel because he's so drunk he's trying to explain how to play the song and they don't understand how.
Yeah. So I think it's similar to that. But
So, I don't. Yes, maybe that's unfair. This is a brand new game out of JJP.
No, I
and
don't
we're
think it's
just we're
unfair. I mean,
diving
that's in the
straight
game.
into a criticism.
Yeah.
But this was something. I mean, this was an actual video that just came out, and everybody. Pinside's having a field day with Photoshop pictures of like unicorn heads in the bed, and just
Unicorn.
it's a
Oh,
lot.
That's actually pretty clever.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, we know that every single insert GI bulb, every single thing in this game is an RGB LED, and they're going all out. They're going all out and using all the colors, and I think that's just taking people by surprise with this being somewhat of a more mature game. They thought it would kind of like stay more thematically. I don't know. I mean, was that, as somebody who's played the game, did that stand out at all to you? Is that, I mean, what were your first, thoughts on it?
Yeah, I
that
mean,
kind of thing?
it's a Jersey Jack, so I expected there to be that.
Yeah, that
the
light show.
lighting.
Yeah,
I mean, if anybody's surprised by that, I think they're aiming to I mean, come on. You're walking into a Jersey Jack pinball machine and you see beautiful light sequences of all spectrums of colors, and you're like, oh, I can't believe they would do that. Like, okay, I guess you're easily surprised. So for better or worse, Yeah, it's a lot of lights. Some people like lights, some people don't.
Okay. So that it, I mean,
Like I,
that's a lot of red.
I want my pinball machines to do that. Some people don't.
Okay. They always look better in person than on video. Yeah, cause you're probably right. I get it.
No, I
Cam.
think LEDs film LEDs
Cam.
film so well.
I do really like this health bar thing. I think that's creative. I am a fan of the hot
That's pretty
rails,
cool.
but having that built in there, they had that with GNR where what was it? The one mode where if you drained out the left side, you are in a mode and it's like the left side is green and the right side's red, and you have to hit certain shots before it counts. I don't know. Pretty cool.
Mhm.
But isn't that health bar only on the CE?
No, I think it's on. It's
Oh,
on
this
both.
health?
Yeah,
I think
on
it's on both. I think it's on both because they coded it into the hot rails. But
I think it's on both.
all right,
'cause we were
Zach,
playing in LE at the factory.
where do you? I don't know the best. I mean, I'll let me get.
What were you all's first
Yeah,
impressions?
you're
whenever this
right.
thing
You're
came
right.
out?
I see it now.
My first impressions of the game. I'll go first. I mean, it is a lot of lights. I saw that. I think it is a cool. I think the layout is unique. It looks like a fast game. I was glad to see. I mean, this is the first Eric game that doesn't have a big old.
150 people in here. Nicely.
it-
Hey guys. Hi.
Yeah. It doesn't have a
Hey.
big old upper play field. Like I think this is more just a straight shooter. Once you understand where the shots are. I don't know Godfather much. I do think it's interesting, and I understand nobody could have seen this coming. But the fact that we have one pop bumper down here reminds me a lot of Godzilla. We also, on Foo Fighters, there's a mech down here with a shot behind it. Like, I just think that's crazy that two games come out within 2 weeks of each other, and they kind of have this thing. And to have this in-lane drop that's right down here, which is in Foo Fighters. Like, I just think that's crazy that from
I'm
a...
trying to think, what was that last? It happened
Right there.
It happened.
It was the
last
Avengers
release.
spinner. The
the
Avengers
spinning
spinner and the top hat were like, I mean, what are the chances? I think that's kind of crazy. But this is one of the, I mean, I'm in the same thing where I am so confused at this layout that I truly don't know what to think. But that's my thoughts. George, what were your first impressions by the teaser or even Zach's video?
You know, it's funny. I was before seeing the teaser, I was so against the idea of Godfather. I'm like, how does that compute as a theme? And it's crazy as I was watching it, I'm like, oh, it's a JJP. The game looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It looks flowy because Eric designed it. It's once again got it sounds like you just walked into a casino. But the film integration is there, so it's not like Pirates where you get the 2 seconds and it's only CG characters where you get anything, like you get faces and actual audio. Like they obviously got the license to get into the game, and I had to rethink a little bit, almost like a pivot or a refactor in my mind of how I was thinking of it. If somebody wanted to create a mafia game,
Mm-hmm.
so think of it like Kingpin or something like that. Like I still have no idea why people keep wanting to redo Kingpin, but whatever. Like if you wanted to do a theme of mafia and not have it be licensed, the first thing everyone would say would be, well, why didn't you get Goodfellas or Godfather? So I guess from that perspective, if you think of it as it's a mafia themed game, what's really the big issue? And they got one of the best licenses possible having to do with the mafia. It spun around, I guess, a little bit in my mind. I'm like, oh, well, it's going to be a fantastic game. It's going to have crazy rules. Keith is on it, and the layout, I'm sure, is just going to be awesome because Eric knows how to design really cool layouts. So, assuming it's not a wide body, I'm more interested in it. As usual, I'm kind of afraid that the sounds are gonna make me dislike it over time. I still struggle with dialed in. It feels like my parents left the news on in the other room.
I could see that.
I will say my other initial, like that right there is a beautiful looking game. If the goal for a pinball machine is to just have a box of lights that looks really good in the corner of your office or your game room, like that is a beautiful looking game. Like I am really impressed with how that looks. Now I know Dennis doesn't care at all about that. He cares about how a game plays. So this is the exact opposite of what Dennis cares about in a pinball machine, right?
Oh, I do. I wouldn't make a purchase decision based off of the art package. I do not like this art package though.
Oh, okay.
Not the art. It's like it's not an objection to how the characters are drawn or placed. I disagree with this entire color scheme. It doesn't speak Godfather to me at all. It's like someone remembered The Sopranos and just put everything dripping in gold, which is not what the Godfather movies are about. That's not how the mob was back then. This feels like I'm watching a rap video with all these gold lions, and I think I know where they got it from. Like the Godfather 50th logo stuff is always in gold. And then on some of the covers, I'm not sure if it was ever on the covers of like the posters or the DVDs, but maybe the cover of the book, I've seen the Godfather word in red, like this shade of red. So I'm guessing that's probably where it got farmed from. But if you ever watched Godfather or Godfather 2, red and gold are not colors of that film. They don't walk around wearing tons of gold. It's not a saturated movie. So I look at it, and if you didn't sew it saying Godfather on it, and I didn't see the very well done images of Marlon Brando or Al Pacino, I wouldn't know this is Godfather.
Interesting. Okay.
So I don't agree with the color approach. I think it looks really gaudy, but artistically, like all the characters and stuff, I think are very well done. So I don't want to. Yeah. So it's just a design decision that I don't. But again, that wouldn't influence my purchasing. I like the playfield more than the. Otherwise, like I like the. I thought it was an interesting idea to do stained glass.
In the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't love it, but I love the idea for the modes around it. Okay. So that it kind of reminds me of a bit like taking a page out of Star Trek, but making it more complex. So instead of like completing 3 in a row to get a reward, you're completing a couple of missions, and then you get to do the middle thing. The middle thing is like a special event or a multi-ball, and trying to fill that out. So without knowing all the rules, that just having that explained in the featurette, which I do want to say, Zach, I did enjoy the featurette a lot. I thought it was well done. That made me feel like I would be able to approach this game and know how to play it without having to look at that flow chart. Because honestly, I don't ever follow those flow charts. I would.
I know. What is it? Black Knight Sword of Rage has a similar kind of dial thing in the middle, and but no, I agree. I totally agree with you on that.
I would say when it comes to like the like that stained glass in the middle,
yeah,
it is one of like when you see it in person, easily probably one of the most beautifully done middle playfield area representation maps that you can kind of see visually. You just look down and see what you need to do and establish, because each of those or a lot of those inserts have multiple LEDs, so they'll do things like flicker like a piece of glass or shatter and different things. And regardless of how everybody feel, that's one thing that it's hard when you walk up to that thing not be like, that's just badass, like that looks so freaking good, that stained glass window right there. And then I like how they consistently put that into the UI as well, and a lot of the GUI stuff.
And the CE has glitter down there too, right?
Oh, it's baked with glitter down there. And then like the CE's got the gold stuff. But I mean, I hear what Dennis is saying about color pattern. What would you, just black and white on this game? What would you go with? And maybe black and white.
No, I don't think I would black and white it. I thought that was an interesting idea in Munsters, but apparently a lot of people didn't buy it. So even though I really do like black and white commercially, I don't think so. I think maybe leaning more into just a little bit softer. Some of the poster work I've seen before would have been more like yellows and oranges rather than these more stark red and golds. I get where it's a minor issue. I don't want to belabor it. It would never influence my purchase choice. And the actual art that Franchi did, is as usual, is very well done.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
But, black and gold, I would have preferred to red and gold, for example. I think that suits a lot more of the covers of the posters. So, yeah, I would have basically desaturated it a bit, but I'm not an artist. It's not my place to.
When I saw the art packages here, it was Franchi, and I'm like, okay, it looks badass. If I'm picking something for Godfather, I'm with Dennis. Like the representations of the characters are really, really well done. I'm glad that they got the rights to these characters as much as they did. I still prefer. I'm an Al Pacino guy, so I like the LE art, man, because that focuses on Michael Corleone more so than Don Vito. But
What
but I like a lot of the CE features.
so another standout is, so I had two thoughts with this, is JP to win. Like his animations are, I've seen like 3 in this video, and it's like, God, they're so good. The animations that he does on the back box. I think he's won best animations at the Twippies and PIAs every single time.
I think so.
But I do think, just heads up, fast forward till next year, this versus Foo Fighters that's going to be an interesting battle on who gets best animations, because the Foo Fighter animations are killer.
Oh, they're damn good.
Yeah. But
Travis
hey,
Mary said they are the greatest animations in pinball history.
Travis Mary, whatever that guy.
That's
I don't know. I mean, they're
really
good, but
they're really good.
and I'd like to see more of these, but I'd actually think I'd lean Godfather still.
These are pretty
from what
awesome.
I've seen. I mean, I
I'm
don't know. I don't want to say, I don't want to do it just because it's JP to win. I don't want to just default.
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
sure.
But these look, I mean,
They look
from what I
incredible.
saw, they look really good.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
Zach.
I like the movie clips. Like, play the whole damn movie for me. I'm good with
Yeah,
that. I don't even need animation. Just play the whole movie.
Yeah.
That's how I like my pinball.
How do we want to tackle this thing? Well, first, we'll see how you can explain shot for shot, but please explain this mech in the middle. I know he turns his head. I know
let's see
but I see there's a drop target here, and there's
Mm-hmm.
some spin. Like, what is going on underneath this dude? Like, what does that feel like? What's the shot? What's it do?
I mean, the shot is the central. It's the central bash toy. It's the castle in Medieval Madness. It's
Sure.
a UFO. That's what it is. It's the biggest thing when you walk up and you want to hit it. So placement's perfect on the flipper. It feels just like all those other shots. It feels like a bash toy.
Okay.
That guy's moving a lot throughout the gameplay. And then there's like a what do they call that damn thing that hangs out? A uvula? What do they call that, Dennis? The little, that little dangler in the back of your throat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's one of those under him, and then that's what you kind of hit to register it.
Okay.
And then there is a spinning disc under there as well. And essentially, each family has 2 lieutenants that you have to defeat. Right? If you defeat the first lieutenant, I believe in each 5 families, you start to 5 families multi-ball. Eric Menier and Keith Johnson, if I'm wrong, I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying. So you're hitting that thing, and then once you're progressing through that individual lieutenant, the health bar and such, you get to the point of progressing so far that your flippers will then be enabled to control that spinning disc. So you can really, that's like you trying to beat him up, whether it's with a bat or whatever it is.
Like spinning
So
it
you can
back
control
and
that spinning
forth?
disc to try to, left and right, just to keep it going, so you can keep that ball up there to register hits to further progress damage towards that guy. And then, which is fucking crazy clever, is he has like Eric said in the featurette, he has a bulletproof vest on, and there's going to be times where you got to go around one of the orbits to get him with a garrote and choke his ass, and there's a physical ball lock back there, a diverter that puts it under him into a subway, and then you can kill him that way.
Oh wow.
And so that's like one series of the game. It's one thing to do is tackling the different family lieutenants and trying to defeat them.
Okay. Well, let's just start on the left then, because he said it's just like diverters everywhere. Diverters
Yeah,
everywhere is what
it
it
is.
is. So when you hit this left shot, there's a spinner right here. Where's this ball going, and what's it gonna do? Is it an orbit? Does it go all the way around?
Keith Johnson said that the orbits can do 7 shots.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to trace them out, given the diverters are mostly hidden.
7 shots?
Without boring people. It's again a little tongue in cheeky. So you've got a left orbit, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
can be a left orbit. Good. It exits. The orbit though is mid playfield kind of thing. Look at the other spinner, right?
Oh, it comes
That's
out
where
here,
your orbit. It's like a half orbit. Where's
right
I
here.
gotta
Yeah.
increase the size of your thing going here.
Yeah, I think I'm right. I could be wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that's where it would, if nothing
is
happens, it coming
tiny.
out right here.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
So that's the regular orbit. There we go. Now I can see your little scribbles now, Joe. So
They're
that's the
very
shot.
good scribbles. Yes.
I like
Okay.
it.
All right, and there's a
and then
magnet clearly right here, so that'll
There's
stop
a magnet.
it.
So the magnet can go there as well. And so this is something new that I don't know if Jersey Jack has used before. It's see that metal plate? That's actually
Right
That's
here?
actuate. So it can, it can come up and down. So it pulls down and the ball goes through that little path there into the vuck.
So that'll
So
stop
the
it on the magnet and then go down into this.
Magnet catches it, that little plate goes down, then the ball rolls down into the bottom of that vuck. Then the vuck can then do 3 things. That's where he's getting at. So that vuck is like that vuck is Eric Menier's additional, like, here's another toy mech kind of thing that we're proud of. What he was, and it's so hard to explain what it does, but essentially, instead of that vuck having one power, it goes to the destination. That vuck has 3 different powers, right? Strengths.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's still. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, at full speed, it's going to go follow the path of that vuck around to the right wire form.
It goes
to the
all
right
the way
flipper.
here,
Yep.
and then it comes down this thing. Yeah.
This happens whenever you're starting is it compound multi-ball? It's to the left, the multi-ball to the left. Whenever you start that multi-ball, it kicks the first ball all the way to the right. It kicks the next ball a little bit shorter of a pulse, and it goes up, and it will come back down the left wire form, right?
Oh.
So you've got one that goes that way, one that goes the other way. Then, if they want to, they kick it a similar pulse. They kick the ball up there. They take that lift ramp and they put it down to feed that upper flipper. Bam, and then you can hit that one too.
Because
that
this
vuck
this
controls
right
3
here,
different
that
shots.
flap,
That's a lift ramp.
Is a
Yep.
lift ramp. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So they can put that down, and then it feeds that upper flipper for
And it'll
3 or
come
4 more
down
shots.
here and feed that. And pew.
So going back to the left orbit.
So
You can
the only
pass
way
that-
to feed this vuck though is through the left orbit, or you could probably feed it through this thing and it stops it with the magnet.
Yeah, I think it's only the magnet that feeds that.
But you could come this direction. You're saying.
Vuck me. I think so.
Fuck
I
me.
think so. But
Okay,
if you do,
okay, yeah.
you really liked that, didn't you?
That was
Joe?
creative. I wasn't
If you
expecting
if
it.
you do the left orbit, it can go past the magnet. There's another diverter, I believe, back there that can feed it into the back of the
him.
lieutenant as well. I
For the
think
garrote.
yeah, and or just like it's an access point, whether it is for the garrote or it's for
There's a
something
little
else
switch
throughout
right here. Yeah.
that certain mode. And then there may be another spot back there. I don't know. So essentially, if you're looking at that and you're going to the right orbit, it can do the same thing.
Going this way. Yeah.
That's how they're adding those paths. And then the last kind of mech to pay attention to is under that lift ramp.
Oh, yeah,
Circle
yeah.
that. Under that lift ramp,
Yeah.
there is a post. So when you hit it, let's say that lift ramp is up.
Okay.
And there's a stand-up target behind it. If
Okay.
you hit that ball and it hits that stand-up target, there's one of those Jurassic Park posts or whatever you post, Stranger Things Pro post. It comes up, holds the ball. It might start a mode, or it's going to stage that upper flipper for you again.
So when the lift ramp is up, it's a dead end shot back here. Like
Yep,
it's not.
it's a stand-up target and then a post right in front
And
of
it
it.
catches the ball, and you're
It
saying
can.
could drop
It
it
can.
down. So okay, so when the lift ramp is down, you're essentially going up around, and you're going to end up feeding this right flipper. Or do you know
Yes.
with this lift ramp down, is there multiple shots that you can hit? Like, is there some diverter thing?
I think there is. I think there's a diverter back there that can actually put it back down on the the entrance exit of the other ramp.
Oh,
It can
wow.
be a U. It can be a U.
Okay.
That makes
Otherwise,
sense?
when it's up, it's a
Yeah.
dead end shot. All right. And then
Same way with the other side of that ramp.
Yeah.
If you hit that right ramp normally,
this thing.
it can either go down that lift flap ramp or it can stay
feeds
lift
the
flap
upper
ramp,
flipper.
stay up, and it goes to the left flipper.
Wow. Okay.
And then you're adding that upper flipper, which is then either like the hideaway Rudy shot that goes into a subway,
so this
or
is
it
a
can
subway?
go. You can still hit that right ramp, believe it or not, and then you can go
You can hit that.
even to the right of that a wide ramp swinging shot.
And that there's no what the heck, go away.
And again, that wide sweeping right ramp that can
This
be
thing?
diverted again. Does it divert down the I lane to the right wire form, which is fast
It
as
c-
oh my god, that thing will go past you and you'll go past the
Wait,
flipper.
you're saying it'll go this way and somehow be diverted to come down here?
Where's your path at? No.
No, you're saying it's
Right sweeping. Yes, going up there,
Yep.
and then it can go back down the right wire
Well, not
form and
that
go
way.
back down the left wire form, or the left lift ramp that goes down. It can feed that upper flipper to hit again, and you can just keep
Wow.
on choo. Depends on what they're coding it, what type, what mode you're in.
Okay.
etc.
So this though is a scoop. There's nothing else going on down here.
Yep, that's just a scoop.
Got it. Okay. And does the ball? There's a subway, I assume.
Subway, and then it comes out the Don's office, which is the scoop mid playfield to the left.
Oh, it goes all the way up there and then comes all the way to this thing. This is a scoop.
Sorry, I've got a picture pulled up.
Yeah,
Yep,
this
that
is
right
a
there.
scoop right there. Okay.
So that's that.
Stand-ups over
So
here.
you can
on
see
the left
why
side?
29 shots adds up, because if
Yeah,
there are diverters
multiple.
within the sequence, they can code them to do different things.
What's on this left side of the playfield? Is there anything besides stand-ups?
I believe those
or-
are just stand-ups. yeah.
Okay. Now I did see this.
You can go behind the flipper though, on the upper flipper. That's another shot. There's a sensor there, just like he used
How-
in GNR.
Oh, so you
the
lift this
plunge.
up?
Yeah, you can lift the
flipper's
flipper up. Think Pirates of the Caribbean.
can get a
There's-
shot
Is that a
back there?
magnet back there? I see a circle
There's
there.
a circle
It is
right
it is the light sensor. It's basically a
Oh.
switch, but it's a light
Okay.
sensor like they used on the plunge shot of on GNR. They use that also down. They use that a lot on
There's
JJP
like one
likes
here.
those
Okay.
or in the physical ball lock to the right.
Yeah.
You'll
we're
see
gonna-
2 green circles
Yeah.
in the compound. Those are sensor switches too.
So that's interesting. So upper flipper, and then it's just kind of a weird little.
Yeah,
loopy-
it's just another
okay.
another shot that you can
Wow.
register. It's probably a jackpot or super jackpot shot. Not an easy shot, but
This we're skipping all the way to the right. There's a drop target right here. Why?
yeah,
How? I mean, it's straight. It's like completely flat. How do you?
because I found it odd design wise. It goes in there quite a bit though, and it's kind of like a bump back on.
like a ball?
I mean, a lot
safe
of games
kinda
have
thing?
that where it goes right back into the shooter lane.
Mhm.
But to physically actually, instead of putting a one-way gate or something like that, to
Yeah.
physically put a drop target is pretty cool.
That's creative. Okay, so we did this we did this upper playfield shot. Now this we did see this in the video. If you short
pretty cool, yeah.
plunge, this ball kind of can trickle down here behind this fence and it like locks itself. Is that
Yep,
right?
and you have another stop prior to that. There's another gate down. Go down more. You'll see another gate.
He means
on this.
even shorter
Oh,
plunge.
down. Oh,
Sure,
right
thank
here.
you.
You do
Yep.
this, and then it would.
You can enter that way. Yeah.
Wow.
It's tough to lock that ball because you have to be. I mean, you got to be on it because if you go too
Yeah,
much,
you only have
it's
this,
then in that,
little
yeah.
bit of play.
and then you're locking balls there. Yeah.
So
And
this,
then that's that physical captive ball that it's a passive captive or like you can send them back and forth.
Yeah,
And
this shot right here, that's a metal thin drop target.
same thing as in the back by that magnet.
Oh, okay.
It's that
So
shield. It goes up and you can hit it physically like a captive mech.
right
But
there.
it's kind of like
yeah.
a drop target too.
So if there's a ball here, it can
senses there's
it'll
a ball
loop
there.
it.
You hit it. And what Keith told me, and sorry for Chad if I'm just nerding out and boring the hell out of people, but Keith told me that essentially the benefit of whopping them back and forth is you're increasing multipliers when you're doing that. Like you can physically just lock 2 balls, go into a multi-ball, that's fine. But every time you like knock it back and forth, you're adding a series of a multiplier back and forth.
Interesting. So you got this weird little
And then there's
Shoot.
another metal shield to let those balls out if they are to the left. You
Over
see
here?
that on the featurette intro.
Okay,
No,
we'll have to pull it up.
downward the one metal.
Because this is a stand up right here, right?
That is, yeah.
So I don't know where the other. Oh, is
It's
it?
in
It's right
between
here.
vertically. There you go. Yep.
Oh, so it
And that
hits
can
here,
open
and
up
then it
to allow
spits
the
them
balls to come out.
So it
Yep.
goes that way, and then
Yep.
wow. And then this is that's not a direct shot. That's
No,
only going to
no.
be you could maybe
That's
hit it
a-
through the pop bumper.
Indirect shot. Yeah.
But is there? I mean, like the pop bumper here, you have the whole tail whip shot on Godzilla, but how do you get in? I mean, this extra ball
that's
shows
not
it
a
this way. Could you hit?
Yeah,
you,
the
you
extra
can
ball
hit
shot's
that.
hard, but
You can hit that. by the way.
yeah, but it's not like I wouldn't call that like a satisfying. It's not. They're stand-up targets, so it's not metal guide or anything like the wallop shot.
Oh, it's not going to whip through it. It's going to
Yeah,
bounce. Okay.
yeah. That shot did nothing for me.
And he helped you a little bit. This isn't open like Godzilla, where you're going to screw yourself. There's a post here and a stand-up target, so it's a little
Mhm.
bit of a safer shot. Explain this, because this ball
That
comes
thing is-
whipping down here,
It's so cool.
then kicks
Yeah.
straight to the right.
Hits that stand-up target and then comes back for your flipper.
But why? Why? Like why do that when you could just come to the right and then just feed your flipper? I mean, what's this? What's the
I would say
point
the
of hitting
same
this
reason
stand on
Jack
target?
Danger put 2 of them in his in lanes too.
Just
to
for-
shats it. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
shat
I mean, I
shot.
see the value for alley passing. It is interesting
Yeah.
though that Eric decided he also wanted a ramp shot though, or a habit trail to feed it. So it must
Mhm.
be used. I assume more regularly than what Foo Fighters might be expecting.
Yeah, and that thing is so damn fast. Like if I lost the ball a lot just because I'm used to wire forms, settling, ball drops, boom. That thing, it's an open wire form. There's
Yeah.
no
It
there's
just
no guide or
shoots outta
circle
here.
guide there. It falls in, hits that damn thing, and zips very smoothly right by your flipper, and you're like, oh
Well,
shit.
I noticed that he positioned it essentially. Most of the path seems to be straight down the playfield,
Yeah.
so I assumed it was going to build up some speed
It's
on
not
that.
slowing down
It-
at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does come fast. So
Um,
I think that's the basic layout. isn't
yeah,
it?
no, that's what I
Yeah,
needed.
that's 29 shots. Yeah.
You can lock balls behind the Capital Regime or the lieutenant, the mobster guy.
Back
Lock
here
balls
somewhere.
there. Right behind the drop target. That drop target can come up and you can.
Oh, in the little
tactically hold it.
disc
Yeah.
area
Yep.
spot. Okay, so
Yep.
that thing's not spinning the whole time or anything. It's just
No.
yeah.
So the drop target can come up and it can kind of rest behind there, a la Star Trek, Guardians of the Galaxy, that kind of thing.
Wow. I don't know, George. You've been
Here-
pretty
here's-
quiet. Do you have
here's
any?
the deal.
You have
On
any
the-
questions? Yeah.
What I'll say on where this game shines, because the Godfather, like it doesn't theme wise. I'm a huge theme guy. Godfather's whatever, one of the greatest films ever. I love it. Just theme, This game shines in the shots. Like it just shoots really good, and it's really combo-y, and it's really flowy. That's kind of where it was at for me. Now, granted, I probably didn't put a ton of time on it, but what rang true to me was like, shit, not to crap on Eric, but his other 2 games are loaded with toys, and it's like, this dude is a straight up mechanical engineer, like a rocking ship that you can shoot cannonball. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
This one felt different in that it felt like a Steve Ritchie JJP. Like it's just fast, flowy combo, boom, boom, boom. And it really felt a lot different than his especially GNR. It's like a fast Pirates that shot twice as good. It's just I love shooting it. That's what I look most forward to in purchasing this is shooting it. I don't know enough about the code or anything like that. It's just fun to shoot.
Well, I know you and Greg both raved about how Toy Story shot. Do you feel like you walked away? Like that's the thing you both said. Like I can't wait to get it because I want to shoot it. Chris Franchi's in chat, by the way. So if you want to say all those comments again, Zach, about the art
what's
that you
up?
said earlier, you're
I
welcome.
said it was juicy. And I lick it. I messaged. I'm getting in trouble from JJP, but we left there. I had our NDAs and everything, but I still text Franchi. I was like, "Wow, fucking nicely done, man."
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's a beautiful looking game. But I remember you left with Toy Story, and you basically were like, "I just can't wait to get this game." Because and Greg, I actually talked to Greg as well, and he's like, "I just want to shoot that game more." Are you saying similar impression when you left with this, like, or what?
Yeah, my focus is on shooting it, and that's the one thing. Like everybody craps on Toy Story and all that stuff, which fine if it's not your type of game, but I'm not sure I know anybody that's like Toy Story shoots like crap. It shoots really well. It might not be your style of game, but it shoots really well. This is the same way.
Okay.
Like if you don't like Godfather, if you don't like colored LEDs, if you don't like assets and stuff like that, fine. But the damn thing shoots really good regardless.
All right, Zach, you can talk about the topper.
Here's what surprised the freak out of me. When I saw the games, I thought I think people are still going to be mixed. $15,000 is so much money for a pinball machine. That topper is really cool, but 15 grand's a lot. Shocked the hell out of me. People were nuts sales wise for the CEs. Like just gone. The CEs went so freaking fast. I can almost guarantee you that they're. We can go to JJP's website.
I think they are
I
officially
would
gone
doubt
now.
that they
Yeah.
have
I
any.
think they're gone now. Yeah.
That surprised the hell out of me because I had people just, do you have a C? Do you have a C? I'm like, well, what about the L? Do you have a C? CE? Yeah, CE's just, yeah, people surprised me with that.
Okay.
But, I mean, the topper's freaking badass. Now, it's going to be a menace to your pets, but
all the time.
it's alarming to the degree of likely the Ghostbuster. Like it's it is. That's a lot. That's a lot of knocks.
Yeah.
Especially 2 of them.
Yeah.
But it's unique.
Cool. I don't know. I know we're already approaching midnight, but I know that was the biggest head scratcher. I think the teaser video, I mean, it was what it was, and then Zach, your promotional video was very good. Eric explained thoughts and all that pretty well, but I could not wrap my head around the layout at all. And when they're saying 28, so I really appreciate you actually, saying what's going on here.
We're all nutty. Like there's hundreds of people in here. This is what happens. Like we're catching this on, what is it, Wednesday?
Yeah.
I'm losing days. So this is day 2. So the roller coaster, if we would have talked yesterday, all 4 of us, or all 150 people were going to buy one. Today, it's the biggest piece of shit ever. Thursday usually turns into like, well, like the light shows are pretty damn cool. That is better than just white light shining. And then, so there's a waxing and waning. Right now we're in this needs to burn to the ground.
Well, yeah, to see people in Pinside being
what we
like,
do.
I hope the light
do.
shows are just placeholders. It's like, what are you talking about? That is if it's a placeholder, it would just be a solid color or no lights at all. Like this is clearly their view of finished light show, finished music, don't kid yourself.
That is one thing that Kiefer said. It didn't make it into the featurette, but he said that like the entire game's there. I think he hears, is the code done? He said the entire game's there. This isn't a thing where you're not able to open up a mode that's supposed to be, a regular mode, or you're not able to stack stuff. Like some of the featurette stuff gameplay wise, and I didn't know what was going on because it's Kiefer shit, but like I had 2 multi-balls stacked with a mode, and that game was just going nuts. And that's why I liked Wonka. But everybody hated Wonka. And like the sound of this stuff, here's the deal on the sound. You heard the gimmicky cliche thing.
Yeah.
Most of the mode songs are high adrenaline, like almost like the Fugitive film. Like it's like like it's an adrenaline pumping kind of thing. Because I think they heard that feedback from previous releases. But we've got Italiano mode that opened up, and I mean, it's red and green going back and forth, guys. Like,
so we need to wait and see, is what I'm hearing.
and I'm not allowed. Like, I've got the stems here. I can't play them, but
yeah,
they're high adrenaline. But there is that somber main theme song as well in there. That wah, bum, bum, bum. There's some renditions of that, but you start any of those modes in that the 8 modes there, and it's like it's not like anything they've done before.
Okay. That one of the main questions that I see over and over again. How do you feel multi-ball wise? I mean, that's GNR's biggest complaint. They just say it's multi-ball city. Do you feel in your initial impressions in playing the game, was it multi-ball heavy?
It wasn't GNR. I can tell you that it was not GNR multi-ball heavy. I played like those gameplay videos. Like that's what I play. I play 5 or 6 games. I started a multi-ball in every game.
Okay.
I stacked a multi-ball probably in every game. It's you're gonna hit multi-balls, but the thing that's nice is the modes are actually modes. They're not songs. And I'm not trying to come down GNR or anything, but it's like I'm actually reliving part of that film, and I have 3 different currencies that I'm trying to build up, and very RPG like, which will confuse the hell out of me. But yeah, so I don't. And they're physical ball lock multi-balls. It didn't feel like it to me, but the more old I'm getting and veteran there, Dave Fix in the hobby, I don't like as many multi-balls. So yeah, I mean, I'm worried about the same thing. But as I was playing, I wanted to keep playing, and nothing got old yet. But that's honeymoon.
Okay. George or Dennis, did you guys have any other questions for Zachary here?
I bored everybody. Sorry.
No, this was my initial impression was I was just left with so many questions, and luckily you were able to answer a good bit of those. And a lot of this we're not going to know until we actually see official stream, which is that Friday? Do we know when the official stream is?
I think there's rumblings of a gameplay video. There's rumblings of a stream. There's I don't think it's going to make it to the Louisville show this weekend. It'll be at TPF, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I didn't have a lot of questions. I just want to play it. That's so.
Yeah.
So in terms of, I'm curious about. I mean, I guess if people want thoughts, people love first thoughts, and we gave a little bit of them. Overall, I think this is a weirder, and I mean that in a good way, is a weirder layout than Foo Fighters, and I thought Foo Fighters was a weird layout. I'm not sure that this is going to play as well as Foo Fighters will. I haven't played that one yet either.
It looks so good, doesn't it?
But I do think, like, when I saw Jack's design for Foo, I thought this looks different. And then I saw Eric's design for Godfather, and I thought this looks really different. And some of it's all those different feeds, but some of it's just the way he's positioned a lot of things. And so based off of that, it does look like, from what I've seen so far, that it does play faster, and that's one of the things I've wanted from JJP games in particular. And Eric's games have never felt all that fast to me. So if this one's a faster one, it may appeal more to me than where I was at. I think the idea of doing the turf takeover stuff is very smart. That's something video games have done with mob games for a while, and it works. And so I thought doing that and being like trying to be a capo and take over stuff. Like, if you're trying to tell a story, pull from the video game realm. Song stuff, I haven't heard enough yet to know. I'm not a big fan of the slash rendition of that. I actually was more impressed when I heard Eric whistle the theme and thought, you better work that in somewhere, because that was pretty impressive. And while I'm not a fan of the red gold color scheme, the art style that's used, as I noted, was very good. I actually like it better than Foo. And I also, this, not to be too mean on Foo Fighters, but the premium and the LE version on Foo are the same art package, as near as I could tell. It's just one was shaded green.
Yeah.
So this at least looks different. So
and they're shipping. How cool is that?
And
at least
they did that with Toy Story also, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like,
we get ours Friday.
This is a JJP thing, which I think the hobby would really like. I think the biggest question going in was, why Godfather? And I still think of, like, all the mob things you could have picked, I still think Godfather was not the best mob theme to go with for pinball, but obviously this is the decision, and that's water under the bridge at this point. And it comes down to gameplay for me. And I think with Zach mentioning how the CEs have been moving and stuff, I think the big difference here is when you look at the surface of Toy Story, you don't see $12,000 and $15,000. Eric, you can see his, it's like what people always complimented Elwin on and what they complimented Jack Danger on. You look at the playfield and you feel like you see where your money is. And I feel like you see the money on Godfather when you look at it. And that might very well be the best topper in pinball. But
I think
I'm not a
this
topper
game
guy,
has
but-
surprised. Whoa, shit! This game has surprised a lot of people. I think expectations. I don't think it's crazy to say. Expectations are kind of low when people heard the rumblings of a Godfather.
Yeah.
And then I think it surprised probably everybody in very positive ways. And we'll see if the 20+ skill shots are a good decision by Kiefer. Oh, how about that? 20+ skill shots.
All the shots are a skill shot.
At first, I thought I heard 13 in the featurette, and then I heard him at the end counting. And I got. Do you know how many, Zach?
I think it was 23. I don't know. And that's why I was like, Kiefer, like off camera, I was like, so are those just shot sequences, like combos off of a plunge? Like, what are those? And he tried to explain it to me, but it's way over my head. But the cool thing is that it's not like just extra points because you got a harder skill shot. Like you're getting stuff with that. Like you can go straight into a mode if you get a certain skill shot, or you can go straight into a mold. Like that's some cool stuff. I like that kind of currency task oriented stuff on here. Same with multi-balls or wizard modes. This ain't the get through the whole album and you get a wizard mode. This thing is like there's layers of wizard. You got to get through these wizard modes to get to this one. Then you got to get through all the modes to get to this one. It's freaking, it's
Zach,
cool. I can't wait.
Don't you still have GNRs you need to sell? I mean, I feel like you should be shilling right now.
They're there. People love that game, but I mean, I'm if I get in trouble, I get in trouble. I'm just speaking like a pinball guy. I don't know.
That's fair. George, did you have anything?
Need to play the game. It checks so many different boxes, as Dennis was saying. It's fast, which is interesting and unique. I feel like from JJP. I like the idea of like more standard mode progression, as opposed to start everything all at once and it's 100% multi-balls. That's obviously a concern going in. Is it going to be another multi-ball fest? I think you guys mentioned that you can see the value. Like, I don't know that looks like it's 15K worth. I wanted to flip that on its head somewhat literally. I think you can see that even more from the underside of the playfield, which was a really interesting picture.
Yeah.
That we got with Eric. I'm more than anything, I'm a complete 180. I'm interested now in the game after seeing it way more so than I was leading up to it, despite the fact I don't think I've actually ever seen Godfather all the way through. I've never seen.
Oh, it's
third.
I won't. Everyone has their own taste. That's why it's, I guess, some way so weird for me to say that I didn't think it was a wise theme for pinball. I love the first two Godfather films. I usually watch them at least once a year. I own physical copies of them.
Don't spoil it, Fredo.
Poor Fredo.
So I'm excited to get my hands on it. It'll probably be TPF, might be the first time, and who knows if it shoots really well, and the rule set is enjoyable, that it might be something I end up picking up.
Oh, but at the end of the day, you guys have to answer this without being able to see it yet, and being able to see, hear, and almost feel all of GNR. This or that. We're gonna go Godfather. Godfather. We're gonna go Godfather. This or that, or GTF. Which one we going? Boo, 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 boo. Tanks.
Right
In space, GTF better have an exclamation point.
Dude,
Or
you
it's not
should.
GTF.
Joel single-handedly installed the exclamation on GTF, and I have corrected multiple people on social media when they leave it off. That's an interesting question because, well, I have my, like from a marketing standpoint, I have opinions on themes and sell and stuff. But as I noted, like I don't buy games based off of art. I also don't buy games because of theme. Like I'm not a Godzilla fanboy. I haven't seen all the movies and stuff. So that's not what it is for me. So the main thing is I don't know the layout yet on GTF, and I don't know the rules.
Yeah.
So I can't do a this or that. So I have to fold. Or I guess if you want me to give you an answer, Zach, I'd have to pick Godfather simply because currently GTF is vaporware until I see it.
GTFO, come on.
So I have to pick what I know. And I still haven't played Godfather, so I wouldn't be able to make the decision. Now, I saw someone in chat ask if I was buying this or not. I've never gone up to $12,000 for a pinball machine, and I'm not planning to currently. But based off of my experience at TPF with optional exclamation point, I might very much look forward to getting to experience it on location. And we do have a location in Kansas City that does tend to get the JJPs. So.
The art and aesthetics for GTF to me feel very Fallout, or maybe some of those other cool games like that alone, and some of the voice work I've from the just short video that's out, and knowing it's going to be it sounds like it's going to be potentially a more expensive game from American Pinball. I don't know. I'm really excited to see what they put out. I was wowed by not Micro Machines, Hot Wheels. And despite the fact that I could just not play that
couldn't
game,
shoot it,
never find a shot on that game, I really, really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a big win for American Pinball. So I'm holding out to see what happens with GTF.
I love that.
2000, it was fun.
2023. We keep wanting to compare, like, oh, is Godfather as good as Foo Fighters? Is as good as Scooby Doo? Is as good as GTF? Like, we may just have 6 fucking badass pinball machines that all belong in collections. So I don't know. Bye. That's
Yeah.
what I would tell.
Yeah,
people.
no, it's interesting.
Why
Again,
not
it was
all?
probably about 35 minutes ago. I saw someone. I've tried to watch the chat, and I saw someone ask if this had ever been this many games like in a month. Not as long as I've been in the hobby, and I've been in this hobby now for about 11 years. And looking back at like IPDB, I don't think so. Not in a single month. Even back in the day, you'd get 3. Like you'd have a Premier Gottlieb drop with a WMS, and Capcom might have had a game out in 1 month. But
Well, even like a couple years ago, we had a lot entering the marketplace and stuff like that in the industry. But then a couple of them would be duds that you don't know if the company's even going to sustain itself. So, but having all big companies come out with games that are all, Scooby-Doo selling out immediately, like there's some really good products out there. And I think we're all pretty lucky and blessed to be part of a hobby that's just cranking out some fun games. So
yeah, and
I'm
I haven't
pumped.
read the Pinside threads that are complaining about Godfather or Foo Fighters for that matter. I don't really follow those threads once the games come out. And so I haven't been seeing I'm used to the usual cycle. You get stuff, people are really excited, and then they start to pick it apart while they wait for new things to come out. It's the standard, I think, human nature. I'll give you my hard take, though, and that is already based off of what we have seen. 2023 will be a stronger pinball year than 2022 was. And 2022, in my own opinion, was much weaker than 2021. But I think 2023 may beat 2021 as well. So that's what I'll go ahead and say. No matter how the rest of the year goes, I think we've got a lot of things. And the initial feedback on most of the games has been, like positive response to Scooby, positive response to Foo Fighters. I think overall positive response to Godfather. 3 games with positive buzz we have years where that doesn't happen.
Yeah. And don't forget, GTF is on. It's coming.
It's
coming, boys.
And I will say that
could be positive buzz for GTF.
Sales wise,
Honey Factory could be coming in.
Oh,
again.
Lord.
sales wise, Foo Fighters is like it's 2023's version of Godzilla. Like I've not seen anything like it. It's insane. The sales on that game. It's like that Metallica again, where people are like unequivocally, everybody likes it. I don't care if they like Metallica. Everybody wants it. That's like the next pinball.
It's interesting, but it does remind me, when Joel mentioned the thing about or you did actually, Zach, about the pin side and how it's like they love it and then they hate it and then they're it's kind of okay, and then it reminds me of the whole we're so sick of the music pins. But every time a music pin drops, it seems like those always have I thought Rush wasn't going to be I didn't think there were enough people into Rush, but then I didn't realize that all of Canada was mandated to use their taxes and buy Rushes. And then, it was a big hit. And now Foo Fighters, which again, part of that's my bias because I didn't really listen to Foo Fighters, but holy crap, people were just waiting for a 90s band. I just wished it had been Nirvana, but that'd probably be too sad. It'd be too sad. No. We need more uplifting music.
Well, I think Foo Fighters happens to be a good, a universally liked band, but the layout is so unique, the art's so well done. You got Ray Day on code, Antonio, there's a whole lot that just happens to fall into place to make Foo Fighters just, I think, universally liked at this point. But no, we are spoiled. We are spoiled right now, and Franchi actually pointed it out. News-wise, summer is going to be dead. There's so much happening right now that it's going to be initial reactions, then it's going to be first takes, some of the initial streams in this. And then we're just going to be enjoying them until the next thing comes out. But I'm excited. I'm excited.
Joel, what are you streaming next? We didn't even talk about Bond 60th and how unbelievable that game is to shoot.
Yeah.
Jeez.
What we found
I can't stop playing Bond 60. That's where I'm at right now.
That's because you keep draining and you got to play again, right? I
mean, I'm telling y'all, I'm going to say it right now. I've said it in Discord. It's a pissed off Beatles. That's what Bond 60th is. It's a pissed off Beatles.
Nice.
Well,
hopefully I'm streaming something. I know it's a weird month. I know Zach has family stuff. I had family stuff. We have Louisville coming up in a week, and then TPF's coming up
tomorrow.
Yeah,
I got to go to Louisville.
So we'll figure something out. But tonight was supposed to be a gameplay night, but with the 2 games coming out, we're like, nah, let's do another chatting stream. Let's have a good time with this. I know I enjoyed myself. We'll go through. We'll do plugs. We'll wrap it up. Chat, I feel bad. I feel like you were ignored tonight,
Yeah,
but
sorry.
there was a
There's not-
ton that
this
we had to
system
talk
sucks.
about.
I can't even see anything.
No,
It's-
I
it's-
have to
yeah.
keep a muted YouTube window up. I think I tried to type some stuff back to chat. They disagreed with a lot of what I said, and that is what I am here for. So thank you for expressing your opinion, because
Yeah.
pinball is for all of us, and
Yeah.
you are free to disagree.
They hate the
Everything
lights,
I-
though, right? Don't they
Yeah.
hate the lights?
What? No, I don't think they talked about the lights.
Oh, I thought Wednesday's light day.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. Okay.
Well, let's go ahead and yes, Dennis, if you wanna plug away, go for it.
No, I don't. Thank you, though.
Well, I'll plug for them. Eclectic Gamers Podcast, the Pinball Show, Eclectic Gamers Podcast, Patreon. Definitely hit them up on that, and yeah, all good, all the good stuff. George, I see you did a headphone swap. Are you there? You're good.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
back.
George, if you want to plug, I won't force it on you. But if you want to plug away, go for it.
George, I stream on Don't Panic Flip mostly Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and yeah, that's actually all I got. Nothing too crazy.
All right, Zach, what do you want to plug? You want to plug Shill? What do you got?
You don't want to know what I want to plug, Joe Lingelberth.
Woo!
Who's Greg Bones' mom? I'm trying to hold it together. I'm so tired. I am very appreciative. Like, I'm trying to turn new pages and find some growth. I'm reading the book by Dave Fix, and I appreciate you three and being friends and bringing so much to the industry that I love. I like focusing on fun things and not shitty people or shit things. And I'm having a blast in 2023. And of all years to focus on shit that makes me happy, 2023, thank you. But I still want to smoke a cigarette. It sucks.
Oh yeah,
But if
yeah.
Stay strong, Zach. We're
doing
very
it.
proud of you.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
it's
not
horrible.
easy.
It's
That's
so
not
horrible.
easy.
But what is easy is going to flippingoutpinball.com. If you just go there, there's like, it's like visual, there are orgasms there. If you like pinball, like it's there. Arcades, it's there. Toppers, it's
They
there
can't
too.
even get me the first pro off the line at Stern. What good are they? I mean, quite frankly.
Well, we'll discuss. We'll talk.
There we go. Here's
But yeah, it's all there, people.
There it
Look at
is.
that.
Look.
Come on.
Oh.
And you know what?
Shop.
Shame on you guys for not talking Scott Danesi into putting a good word in for. I thought we were going to get freaking Multimorphic up there again. on, Jerry.
I think you burned that
I got
bridge.
room on my front banner
Yeah,
page.
I think you burned that bridge hard, but hey,
What?
maybe you have a chance. Maybe you have a
Ice cold
chance.
beer. Come on. Cold beer.
Yeah.
So yeah, just we do appreciate the support, and as always, catch you at a show. Maybe TPF. I don't know if I'm going. But
You still don't know?
You gotta
I don't
go.
know.
We're all going,
I've got-
man.
Yeah.
Everyone's going.
We're
to
all
be there.
going.
Don't get a booth. Just go as a
oh
plebe.
hell no. Hell
Just go
no.
as a plebe.
Yeah.
These shows are wearing me out. I don't know.
Well,
We'll see.
let's go and wrap it up. Yes. So I'm Joel. This is the Flipping Out Pinball stream. Zach, I very much appreciate you for letting me borrow games and stream on this channel. I'm enjoying it a lot. And yeah, every Wednesday from 10 to midnight, roughly. Normally we do every other week with chatting stream and pinball streams. If you happen to be watching this after the fact, like the video, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Feel free to leave a comment.
Good call, Franchi. I gotta update that.
But yeah, this was great. This was a fun night. I appreciate Scott for being on, talking
Thanks,
about his
Scott.
game, and Zach, thank you for coming on as well and answering some of the Godfather questions. So
I still don't know if his new game's really gonna beat Rick and Morty. That's his best game. Good stuff.
You know, I wondered if Scott was actually going to say TNA was still his best layout.
yeah, that was
He's like, I'm
Yeah,
trying to
he
be
was
honest,
likable,
right?
but
Hey, I still love
gotta
it.
be a
and
company
behind
man,
the
what am I
scenes,
doing?
I didn't let him screen any of my questions.
Yeah, you
It
didn't.
was
I didn't know if you had any, but you
I'm
were
like,
you
no,
were
I don't really think I got anything. I'm like, oh, we got all sorts of
Oh,
stuff.
he's
on the
ready.
list.
You handled
Awesome.
it like a pro.
All
See you
right.
guys.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
chat.
man.
Thank you for everyone for being here. And yeah, go check out Twitch. Find somebody fun. I think probably Hottie Frisco Pinball. He's always streaming. Check him out. But
TGF. TGF. The
All
God.
right.
Well, with you, it's more like TPF question mark.
Question.
TPF. All right. Bye, guys.
You're welcome, Dave Pick.